As always, type rerun in the comment section if you're watching this on a rerun, because right now nobody's here. So if you're hearing me, you're probably watching a rebroadcast. So type rerun. I like to see how many of you folks watch it that way. Give me a minute to get my other stream up, and we should be able to party momentarily. President Trump is speaking tonight, and that's what we're going to talk about. Question is, we don't really know exactly what he's going to say, and that's where we're going to be discussing that. So hang on a second. What do you what do you want him to say is where we're going to go with this. So we should be ready to go in about a minute. Let me know on YouTube, by the way, if you guys got audio. So let me know when you get a moment on that. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to get this last stream going, which should take about, I don't know, approximately 60 seconds or so. So almost. And happy Thursday to you folks. One day short of the weekend. So we're almost at the weekend, thank goodness. It's been very, very warm here in the Midwest. Warmer than I would like. And I say that because I am someone who is outside a lot. I mean, I got some of my day job is physical. So I am out in the heat, and it's been a scorcher. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. But let me know on YouTube if you guys have audio. So somebody let me know on YouTube if you can. Okay, I see Chris Z89. Thank you very much. Okay, so you guys can hear me. So bear with me, and I'll go ahead and get the other stream going here momentarily. So I appreciate you guys letting me know that. So yeah, Trump is speaking tonight. When it comes to President Trump, as always, it's going to be a wild ride. That's just what he does. I don't think tonight is going to be any exception. I mean, you listen, Trump has been on the scene. I suppose I would say Trump has been on the scene long enough now that, to be honest, you kind of know what you're getting. You can, and thank you, Alberto Santos Dumont. Appreciate the compliment. Much love to you as well. I'm glad to see you tuning in. Thank you, Alberto. But Trump is speaking tonight, and I don't want to say if you heard one speech, you've heard them all. But I will say, when it comes to President Trump, you kind of know what you're getting. As I often bring up, I've been to a couple of Trump rallies myself personally, and a lot of the material he covered at the first rally was mentioned at the second. I mean, you kind of know what the greatest hits are. The Democrats suck. The elections are not held properly. I'm the best president we've ever had. You kind of know. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is because President Trump is speaking this evening. He's going to be speaking in prime time. He claims he has something really big to talk about. Something really big to talk about. So I'm going to be talking to you folks because I would love to hear your opinion on what do you think he's going to say. He said he got something really big. So we got something really exciting coming from President Trump. But shit, what is it? That's what I want to know. What is it going to be? Are you excited to hear from President Trump? Are you ready for some politics? To quote, what was his name? Hank Williams. What was the guy? Are you ready for some football guy? Are you ready for some politics? So that's what we're going to be dealing with tonight with President Trump allegedly addressing the nation. But what I want to ask you folks is, looking in the comments before I get into the show, in the comments, Samson Radio says, what does Trump actually do for the future of bipartisanship in your country? It's a great question. I don't think Trump is interested in bipartisanship. I don't think that ever was the aim of President Trump. Bipartisanship means getting both sides to work together. he never even indicated that was part of his agenda. So folks who voted for President Trump, folks who support President Trump, most of them have a mindset of screw the other side. We don't need them anyway. So I appreciate the question, but the goal, the agenda of the Trump administration has never been bipartisanship to begin with. It's been, we know what we're doing. We are better than everyone else. Fuck the other side. So it's never been about bipartisanship, but thanks for the question. Support your local liberal, indeed, handsome conservative. Thank you for your support. So Trump is going to be speaking tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So what is that? 4 hours from now? About 4 hours from now. So we will wrap this up before that happens because I absolutely want to tune in and see that. And yes, Chris, you're asking, are you watching this speech tonight? In full. In full, I will be watching it. The only thing that's going to make me turn off a Trump speech is if it gets excessively repetitive, where, it starts to be, because look, with President Trump, a lot of the song and dance is going to be the greatest hits. You already kind of know that. But I do want to present this to you folks. We're going to be asking that simple question, which is what the live stream is titled. What do you think Trump is going to say tonight versus what do you want to hear him say tonight? What do you want to hear from President Trump? What do you want to hear him address? Now, there's a host of things going on in this great nation. Obviously, President Trump is a big proponent of getting the Save America Act passed, voter integrity, getting the elections to be free and fair. So we can talk about that. But we're going to also go into discussing communism being on the rise, socialism, obviously the Iran war. Is Cuba still next? Is Greenland still on the table? To quote, can I think of his name right now? James Carville. To quote James Carville, it's the economy, stupid. We certainly got to discuss the economy. Tariffs, which is certainly affecting the economy. And last but not least, in regards to President Trump and his greatest hits, there is no speech, no press conference complete by President Trump that does not include an ample amount of anti-Biden, anti-Obama rhetoric. So there is absolutely a guarantee, an absolute certainty that Obama and Biden's names will be mentioned tonight. So we're going to go into what do you want to hear? What do you want him to address? So looking in the comments right off the bat, T-Mac says, how he lied, it don't matter what he say, it's going to be a lie. Come on, what you said? Everything Trump says is dishonest? He's not always dishonest. I don't think there's any human being on earth that is always dishonest. Now, I'm not going to pretend like Trump is always honest either, but I don't think he's always dishonest. Tap the screen in the comments. Derek says, fuck that clown show. That is your commander-in-chief, sir. That is your president. What he says could end up affecting your life significantly. Clown show or not, whatever you want to call it. Handsome Conservative says, I'll be honest, disagree with everything you say, and what does that says? And stand for conservatism forever. I disagree with it. You disagree with everything I'm saying? I don't think that's true, Handsome Conservative. I don't believe anyone disagrees with everything I say, even if you think I'm the most bumbling idiot on social media. I'm absolutely certain beyond a shadow of a doubt that I sometimes get some shit right, even in the eyes of far-right MAGA and some of my far-left folks as well. I know I just got out of Sticks Live. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, then that's different, Handsome Conservative. So we're going to go ahead and start taking calls. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000 if you're watching us on TikTok. If you're watching us on YouTube, I need you to do your boy a solid. Smash that like button. Helps out the algorithm. Brings in more MAGA on YouTube in particular, because that's where my algorithm is on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, certainly smash that like button. You guys know how the program is ran the same way it is every day. We are MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Our comments go left of Mamdani to I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anybody on this program, including yours truly. We don't censor free speech just because you got some criticisms. That's how the program works. We are really about free speech. We don't have moderators here. That's how much we favor free speech. You don't hear about people getting muted and blocked and all that shit. We just don't do that. Mike the Sailor, appreciate the hat mustache, starting the program off right. Thank you very much for your support. And folks, certainly help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goals. In the comments, tap the screen, by the way, get us up to 10,000. We'll take the first caller. What the hell happened to the Epstein files? Can someone please tell me? They're irrelevant. They are irrelevant. See, Osby, appreciate the TikTok cap. They're irrelevant. Everybody has their mind made up in regards to the Epstein files, and Trump is never going to be an instrument in helping you get to the bottom of them. Since day one, Trump has made it clear he has no intention of helping you figure out what's in the Epstein files. It's been a cover-up from day one, even though many would argue he campaigned on it. Him and Bongino and Kash Patel and all of them. But the minute they got into power, they decided, well, maybe we don't want to let this stuff out. Now, there's a lot of conspiracies floating around. Thank you, Kel Brew. One big conspiracy, and I don't listen. While I strongly believe Trump is involved in a cover-up with the Epstein files, there is one conspiracy that I got from MAGA, from one of my MAGA friends, that I'm not totally disagreeing with him on this. And that being that even at President Trump's level, he can be touched by perhaps some of the folks that are in the Epstein files. These are obviously incredibly wealthy and powerful people. I mean, I'm assuming even Bill Clinton may be in there, so we know some of the world's most powerful people are in there. And the possibility exists that if Trump allows the world to decipher what's in there, his own life and livelihood could be at risk. I'm not buying into that 100%, but I'm also not discounting that. I absolutely do believe that there are people who would have no problem taking a life to prevent that information from coming out. Some would argue that's why Epstein himself is no longer with us, is that maybe someone did not want that information to become public. So I'm not discounting that maybe Trump possibly wanted to get that information and release it to the public, and then he found out how dangerous that could be for him or his family and decided not to. Not 100% buying it, but I'm not discounting it either. Anyway, looking in the comments, are we at 10,000? Tap the screen, get the likes up. I don't care what he'll say. I would only watch it to fall asleep. Same shit, different day, shit, Shanti. Well, let me ask you this, Shanti. What do you want him to say? What could President Trump say to at least raise your eyebrows and make you at least say, you know, maybe he's not as much the monster that I thought he was? What could he say? I understand you're not going to support Trump or vote for Trump. There's probably too much that has already been done. But could he say anything? Could he say anything? You must be kin to Clarence Thomas, says Malcor. And you got me on TikTok? You really believe that shit? All the money that Clarence Thomas is making, being what he is, what you're accusing me of that he actually is, and he's profiting like that? If I was related to him, God damn it, I'd want some of the money. Tap the screen, but that's funny. Give me up to 10,000. 2 Atlanta senators are going down. You think Atlanta Snowbird is going... So you expecting Atlanta to go back, what is that, red? Because they got the pastor guy out. Who are the 2 Atlanta senators? I know one is the black guy. He's a pastor. Who's the other one? I don't know. I don't know about it, though. I think the influx of people moving to Georgia has certainly turned that state more purple. Yeah, Ossoff, yeah. It's turned that state purple. I'm not for sure Georgia's going to do what you're saying. Are we at 10? Almost. Tim, are you dumb with multiple M's, says Tony NFG. Didn't they bring Bill and Hillary in and videotape them? Of all the people, your ass names Bill Clinton. That don't mean they told the truth, Tony. That don't mean they told the actual truth. It ain't like Bill Clinton doesn't probably know if Trump is in the Epstein files or anybody that Trump is trying to protect, Bill Clinton of all people would know that. So Bill Clinton could feel confident if we go in there and lie, he ain't gonna blow this shit wide open because his ass is in there or his best friend is in there. You can say whatever the fuck you want, Hillary, because it's never gonna get out. He ain't gonna blow this shit open because it would implicate him too. He's just fucking with us. It's possible that they could be lying. I don't know. I do not know. And I'm not going to pretend like I do. In the comments says, if you like communism, we're going to certainly talk about that, the rise, this alleged rise of communism. I'll go to the box. They were under oath. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're under oath. If it's never going to come out, you're never going to be able to prove whether or not they lied while they were under oath. And I think if anybody knows who's in there, Bill Clinton knows that. Gangsta grandma.
What's up?
Not much at all.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Tell me why. Tell me why. In my inbox, you know what people are saying? That we're fucking. You know that, Tim? When are we gonna? I was like, damn, that's a shit. You wouldn't be on live if we was doing that. You'd be too in bed all the time.
But goddamn it, put me to sleep. I'm tired right now.
I've been David doing it, Tim. You had to add me too. I defriended Joe Ugly Ass. He had to add me back. My pages.
Why would you defriend me of all people?
Because I was pissed off at Joe Ugly Ass.
Oh my god.
Because you be snow roaching.
Oh my god. Just like anyone. That's exactly what a woman would do. So what brings you up today?
Well, we have an oxymoron in office. Now he's hiding shit from the Epstein files. You know this. Yeah. You know it. Yeah. You know it. Look at them. They're already trying to get me. And
I tell you, it's terrible. I get it every damn day. Did they take her off? Did they take Gangsta Grandma got taken off? She didn't say shit. Wow. You know something? I'll just say this. That is crazy. I'll just say this, though. What the fuck is that? What in the actual fuck? Who said that? What was that? Oh my god. That shit silenced me. What was that? Was that UCI? Who said that? I don't know what that was. Wow. Alter ego. What the fuck? Okay. We now return to our regularly scheduled program. Thank you. I've never seen that. We don't have a mod in the comments. Nurse Twin Mom says, is that one of your mods? This program doesn't have a mod. We haven't had one from day one because we believe in free speech here. We exercise free speech to the ultimate. And I believe having mods is only going to result in that mod censoring the wrong people. I mean, if you get a mod, they're going to lean right or left. And I don't want them censoring the other side. I had that happen today. I'll go to the next caller briefly, but I had that happen today. I went into a all MAGA live. Few of you folks may have seen me in there. I got muted probably 30 times. I got dropped and brought back probably about 5 or 6 times, constantly talked over. Obviously, MAGA don't favor the liberal opinion, so I was insulted and all of that. Look, I don't mind the insults, but I just want to make sure you guys understand on my program, I do not drop you, I do not mute you, I do not censor you, because I don't like those type of environments. But I do enjoy talking to MAGA, and you got to kind of put up with that shit as part of the program to even speak with them. Otherwise, you know, it is what it is. So I did go in there, but yeah, I got muted and all kinds of shit. I know some of you folks saw that, but yeah, we don't have mods on here. Never have. Anyway, and thank you for that give. I've never seen that before. In the comment section here, real briefly, somebody said misinformation. I don't know what that is. I went into 6 Live and got questioned for being in a black space by one of his guests, and that's wrong. It shouldn't go down like that, handsome conservative. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to Jeremy. Can't believe what they did to Gangsta Grandma. That was uncalled for and unwarranted. Jeremy, good evening.
Hey, Tim, I just want to say to Gangster Grandma, I'm very sorry about whatever white man dumped you for another white woman. You know, I get that you're very upset that the white man doesn't want you. That's why you're always talking about white dick and like, and how much better a black dick is, you know, and you call white women snow roaches. I get it. I get it. There was a snow roach who took your man, took your nice, white chocolate man. So I'm very sorry. I hope you heal from that one day. Anyway, Tim, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing. I can't believe you just said that shit. If she heard that, you're going to be addressed in the future. But I'm going to.
That's all right. That's all right. I hope she did.
Fair enough. Trump is going to address the nation tonight. I mean, are you going to tune in?
I'll watch the reruns in the morning.
Why not tune in?
I got shit to do.
Oh, yes. Okay, fair enough. Anything you want him to say that you want to see on the reruns? Is there anything? I mean, let's start it this way. What do you expect to hear from Trump tonight in the reruns? When you catch the excerpts tomorrow, what are you expecting to hear him say?
I assume he's going to say something, and it was all Hillary Clinton's fault. Something, and it was better than everybody else. I did it better. Many people have said that I'm the best president ever. You know, something along those lines.
The guy you voted for, you expecting him to talk that kind of bullshit?
Yeah, well, hey, Tim, how many times do I have to say it?
I got to make sure my audience know. I got to make sure they know.
Yeah, and I openly said that I regret my vote.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. How do you think? I mean, like, do you, in terms of judging him, you know, like the letter grades A, B, C, D, and F, you don't give him an F, do you?
I give him a D-.
Pretty close. Wow. So you think Trump is doing a pretty shitty job?
Well, yeah, and the thing is, the reason why I give him a D- and not like a C- is because if he had not stoked up so many beliefs about like a good future and then utterly disappointed that, I don't think I would grade him as nearly bad. Like I would give Kamala Harris probably a C- if she was in power, because I know I wouldn't like most of her policies that she ran on to begin with. So I would be like, yeah, but I don't expect much of you.
Interesting. So what you're saying is you with President Trump, you're giving him a lower grade because he pumped you up and really, really disappointed.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it is what it is. I suppose I cannot argue with that because you're right. He did promise the Gilded Age. I think that's what you're talking about. He did promise to do a lot fairly quickly and make us into a really, I mean, that's the phrase, make America great again. And, you know, obviously you ask folks, are we great again yet? And then you got these opinions all over the place. But why do you differ from MAGA? MAGA thinks he's doing a really good job.
Because I put principles before persons. Like, I want my principles to be lived out in the people I elect. I don't care about who does it. I care about what they do.
Wait a minute. So you're saying MAGA puts principles before the person?
No, they put the
person before the principles. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. Well, shit. I mean,
it's a cult of personality.
How do we get past that?
Well, I think MAGA needs to do what the Democrats need to do with socialists. They need to purge them out of the party.
Yeah, but socialism is something that's starting to grab hold in the Democrat Party. Trump is the Republican Party. So, I mean, that would be like having, you know, Bill Clinton or Barack Obama as a socialist. It is the party. So socialism doesn't have anywhere near as strong of a hold on the Democrats as Trump does on the Republicans.
I know, but if they don't want to end up like the Republicans, they better cut out the cancer right away.
I don't know. You know how I feel about it, Jeremy. I see what's going on with capitalism, and I'm like, we can talk about how bad you perceive socialism will get. We don't know because it hasn't happened, but you believe it'll be terrible. But the fact is, what we have right now in this country, which is not socialism, is not doing good. So if you want to tell me,
not true.
You think we're doing good right now?
We're not doing perfect, but you're just focusing on the bad. You're ignoring a lot of the good. If it wasn't for global capitalism, there would be a lot more starving people in the world. We have resolved a lot of the major issues of the world. The reason why you can even talk to me on this phone right now is not because of any socialist policy. It's always been the result of global capitalism. Now, does that mean that capitalism doesn't have flaws? No. A lot of times they'll go to places that are very poor and underpay people what we would pay them here because they know they can. So I'm not a capitalist. I don't worship any economic system. I just know the ones that are worse.
What about a mix? What about a mix? I mean, we know Western Europe is not as capitalistic as America is, and their citizens are fairly happy. What about a mix?
A mix would be better than a straight socialism, but I'd say capitalism with rules is better. Which is not the same as socialism.
Okay.
Like, people oftentimes misunderstand what socialism is. Socialism, which is like communism's little brother, is not simply when the government does stuff for the people.
Give me a nation that you're talking about that lives like that.
That has actual socialism.
Yeah.
I would say they're not like this anymore because they've largely liberalized. But for a long time, the state of Vietnam was like that, and there's a reason why they're extremely poor.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking this is because we hear Trump and many on the right talking about the Democrats want communism or socialism. I want to scare the shit out of me. Give me the country you think that they're trying to turn us into. You see Mamdani, you see Vietnam in him?
Well, old Vietnam. New Vietnam, and as of late, has been heavily liberalized. So is China. They're not as poor as they used to be because they've liberalized and become much more capitalistic. But if you want a current one, Cuba. Where
you can't open up a business, you can't trade, you can't do. You think that Mamdani wants the country to be like that? Well, we can't do any trade or anything, and we just want to be isolated in poverty.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. People don't understand how the embargo that we have actually is. It's not a trade blockade, and it's not an outright ban of interacting with Cuba. In fact, the United States does trade with Cuba on a very small level. We just ban certain items from directly interacting with.
Yeah, but they can't interact with anybody else, Jeremy. America's blocking. If Russia or Iran or somebody want to interact with Cuba, we're going to stop that. We control what kind of business they can and cannot do. We are involved in their business heavily. That's not even true. They can trade with other countries. You're telling me America has hands-off approach to Cuba?
Not completely hands off, but for the most part, most other countries outside the United States can and do trade.
What? Okay, Cuba. You said not a complete hands-off. Tell me what part of hands-on do America have with Cuba? What are we controlling?
We are very hesitant about what they import. We don't want them importing weapons of mass destruction.
Shit, but Jeremy, we make a financial killing off of selling weapons. Maybe if they could actually move weapons back and forth, they may be worth a lot more money than they are.
I'm not saying I agree with it, although actually I am, because but that's separate from what my point was. We don't want them getting those because, well, do you remember why the Cuban Missile Crisis was a crisis to begin with?
We didn't want Russia putting missiles on that island because it was close to us.
Yes,
right.
That's why we're very hesitant to allow them any kind of international ballistic missiles.
Yeah, but tell me how that does not hurt Cuba. We've removed their ability to defend themselves. They don't have those missiles. Now you got Trump talking about Cuba's next. Tell me how Cuba, in their dilapidated condition, has no American influence that put them there.
Well, no, hold on. Okay, so you're asking a few different questions that kind of are a little bit separate. So let's parse it out. So basically, the first thing you got to understand is that Cuba is definitely an ideological enemy of ours. So we don't want them the same way we don't to get nukes the same way that we don't want Iran to get nukes.
Yeah, but we're hurting them financially, though, doing that.
But here's the thing. there are other things that they can and should trade, right, that they are low on production of because of their socialist system. There are things like tobacco, certain types of certain strands of the plants that make tequila. There's like tons of like other tropical items that are exclusive to that climate. There's different minerals that they have. There's a lot of different things that they could be trading that they're not trading.
But you got
their economic system doesn't produce much.
Yeah, but any country that has a bigger country dictating what they can and cannot trade, that's going to hurt that country. I mean, to a huge degree, because if they were allowed to put Russian missiles on their continent, then that would allow them to do business with a lot of other folks that we might not like and have in the region. Not to mention, Russia may have done a lot more trade with them. There's a lot of harm to that country that we have done by dictating what they can and can't do.
Tim, you do realize that Japan also has similar restrictions when it comes to getting certain weapons.
Yeah, but we also help them out. Yeah, but we also help out Japan. I mean, we provide all of their protection for them.
Yeah, we do. But here's the thing. When it comes to economics, that's irrelevant to whether we provide protection for them. Economically, they are able to trade a lot. They're able to trade a lot more and produce a lot more. And they are one of the wealthiest nations in the East. And it's not because they don't have the ability to trade weapons with major countries, is like Cuba's not allowed to, because they're also not allowed to do the same thing.
I don't think you realize how much money our GIs spend over there. Just allowing us to have bases and all that present. We spend a lot of money in Japan. So I don't know. You're making it sound like it has no economic benefit to them of any significance. You have a lot of Americans over there living in that country, spending money, and they're getting government checks. These are government employees, American government employees over there. They're making a killing off of us.
Yeah, well, first off, that's not the major reason why they're as wealthy as they are. That definitely helps their economy, but it's not the major reason. Like, we could go on about this forever and ever, but the point I'm trying to make here is that if Cuba really was the result of American imperialism, every country that had any kind of American imperialism pushed over it would be extremely poor, and that's just not the case.
Well, it depends on how you treat them. I mean, most of the countries that we're in that is doing a good job is because they're bending over to the ways of how we want it ran. Cuba didn't bend over to American ways. If you play ball with us, we'll treat you pretty good. If you don't, we'll hurt you. Cuba's a country we're deliberately hurting.
We're not hurting them nearly as much as you think we are. We're just making it so that way we don't prop up a nation that wants to destroy us, which we should be doing with China, not by putting an embargo on China, but by abandoning all of our factories and manufacturing over there and bringing it to larger countries that have comparable populations like India, which actually have democracies and open and fair and free elections, unlike China.
I don't know how you could say we're not hurting Cuba, considering we got them in the dark right now.
I'm not saying we're not hurting them at all, but I am saying we are not hurting them.
Put them in the dark. That is significantly hurting them.
In the dark.
Yeah, they've been in the dead. They have. We're preventing them from getting energy.
How?
By preventing oil from Venezuela to go into their country.
Well, that's a special circumstance. That's not something that's happened historically.
Can you imagine how much money America would lose if you prevented us from having electricity and power for a few months straight?
Say again?
Can you imagine how much money this country would lose if somebody prevented us from having power and electricity for like 3 straight months, back to back?
Tim, there's no country on earth that would be ever powerful enough to stop the American machine from doing that, even if they cut off most of our trade.
But that's what's happening. That's what we're doing to Cuba, though. That's exactly what we've done in it for the last about a straight season now. We've kept them energy for the most part. They don't have energy over there. They can't run it. I'll let you finish, but here's the point of thing. I don't think you realize how much damage we've done to that country.
I don't think we've done nearly as much damage as you think we have. It's really their system. And let me just explain it like this, Tim. Okay? Socialism has been tried in many, many, many different countries, and sometimes it's been...
Give me another country other than Cuba. Give me a country that by their own weight, they're trying socialism or communism and they're fucked up without any American or somebody else influencing them in a negative way? Give me some, because you and I going to disagree that Cuba ain't being hurt by America. Give me somebody else.
Okay. I can't give you any current countries because the majority of former socialist and communist states have stopped becoming that way. But I can tell you about countries that used to be that way and how bad it fucked up their economies. Cambodia, Russia, most of the Eastern Bloc. I would also put what's the name? Catalonia, Spain. Like Spain, it had a long time to recover from their socialist, from their flirtation with socialism.
How do you respond to Mr. Johnny in the comments who points out China is socialist and it's the strongest country in the world? How do you respond to that?
Two ways. Number one, it's socialist in name only because and number two, it's been propped up by the United States manufacturing industry moving over to China because of how poor people are. So we've basically taken a dead corpse and stuck our finger up its ass and puppeted it around and said, look, China's succeeding. No, they're not. They're succeeding off the backs of capitalism.
For all we know, Mamdani I have not heard Mamdani suggest he don't want anybody in his entire jurisdiction to own a business. I think you guys are taking him offering free buses and some of this shit, just like with Obama when he was offering universal health care. A lot of folks just exploded that to suggest, well, he want to give you everything for free. They never promised that. Mamdani has never promised to give you everything for free, but that's what Trump and many on the right are going around saying. Same thing with Obama. They said Obama never promised to give you everything for free.
Tim, I would normally agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that Mamdani and Obama are very, very different. And they are different because of one specific group, the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. Well, and if you actually tune into any of their live streams, there are already recordings that have been put out showing that every member of that organization is either a hardcore socialist or a communist. That is exactly what Mamdani is. Obama was just a social democrat. He is not a socialist.
Bro, okay? My point is simple. If your judgment of Obama, if you fucked up on Obama and got it wrong, you could be doing the same thing on Mamdani. And they told us that Obama during that time was just as much of a socialist as they claiming Mamdani is now. It's kind of like with the Iraq War and the Iran War. A lot of folks that are on the right that support the Iran War were the same people that supported the Iraq War, and now they're admitting that the Iraq War was a mistake. If you're wrong on one, you can be wrong on the next. Last word to you.
Okay, look, I understand that you have a little bit of trauma from all the years of us wrongfully calling Obama a socialist, just like Gangsta Grandma has trauma after Gangsta Grandma got dumped by a white man. But here's the thing, okay? Look, Obama was never a socialist. That was just something that certain personalities like Rush Limbaugh on the right said
and Trump
demonize. Yes, but to discredit Obama. The truth is, Obama's policies weren't great, but they weren't socialist. Now, there's someone in the comments who I know, he's really, really well educated on this, known as Gamer Dad. And Gamer Dad, I'd like you to come up and talk to Tim because you can explain it probably better than I can. And the DSA, a group that Mamdani was part of for years and is still a part of, is an openly communist/socialist organization. They openly say they want to abolish the Senate. They say this stuff on live streams, and Mamdani has been filmed saying that he is a socialist, that he wants to subvert the Democratic Party. The Democrats I disagree with, but I would take a Democrat any day over a socialist.
All right. Jeremy, as always, we'll certainly end up talking about this in the future as Mamdani continues to rise politically. Thanks for coming through. Thank you. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 20,000 if you will. Mark Cooper says, Cooper, thank you. Debating leftists on the internet is rough. God bless you, sir. He said leftards, like libtards, retards. He says debating leftards on the internet is rough. God bless you, sir. Well, look, debating anyone on the internet can be challenging. That's why I believe in free speech, so that nobody is handicapped while they're doing such debates. I believe in let you speak. Anyway, in the comments, and look, as I just stated with my last caller, get us up to 20,000, we'll take the next caller. But as I just stated with my last caller, I saw so many people claiming that Obama was a socialist, and that turned out to be wrong. Now they're claiming that Mamdani, and well, they're claiming the whole fucking Democrat Party right now is socialist. The same people who clearly were wrong about Obama are now coming back with part two. Now, Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, they do openly claim to be a socialist. I guess AOC may have, I haven't heard her, but I'm assuming maybe AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said it as well. But they're branding the whole party as standing for exactly what Mamdani does. I mean, you could be talking about a Democrat in Oregon from a Democrat that lives down in Miami. They're branding all Democrats as socialists. What's particularly concerning about this is there are some Republicans that are open racist. The right don't want you branding the whole party based on them. There are plenty of Republicans that do not believe women should vote. The right don't want you blaming the whole party based on that. But yet they have no problem taking what Mamdani over in the corner of the country, New York City, is doing and saying that the whole Democrat Party is that. All 70 plus million Democrats are all based on what Mamdani is doing. I didn't see it in Obama, and I'm not going to pretend like Mamdani is the face of the Democrat Party right now. He's doing well in New York, so be it. But it may fizzle out. Let's see. I think the issue with Mamdani is you got to see how it pans out. If what he is doing in New York fizzles out, that'll be the end of Mamdani. But right now, the citizens of New York seem to be quite happy with him. And he's really pissing off the right because he appears to be a rising star. Looking in the comment section, the numbers aren't bad for New York. Yeah, I don't hear most people in New York complaining. The overwhelming majority of people complaining about Mamdani do not live in New York. That's simply put. Most of them are not in New York. Why does MAGA and Republicans always need a boogeyman to scare them into submission? Because it works. Because it works. I understand why Trump does it. It works. Remember, they're criticizing socialism. They're not bragging about how great the economy is now. The argument should be, why the hell would you want to go to communism with how great the economy is doing right now? They can't make that argument. So they're just criticizing socialism without saying anything about what we're currently going through right now. The country's not doing very well right now. Economically, it's not. In fact, I'll go to the box. Are we at 20,000? Real quick before I go to the box and tap the screen. Certainly if you're on YouTube, I need you guys to smash that like button. I just applied, not applied, but you do Indeed. I still have my old credentials on Indeed.com. I'm not looking for a job. I've been working at the same job for years now, but I still have that information out there. And occasionally they send me emails. I used to be a telecom technician, in the network monitoring and knock center tech. I got a lead from Indeed.com yesterday for one of those tech positions I used to do back in the late 90s. The pay range was exactly the same as it was that I was earning back in the late 90s. That job is paying the exact same rate. Educated job. I had to have a college degree and all of that to get that. This is the point we're making when they say capital. Jobs are not paying shit. A lot of jobs that people do are paying the exact same thing today that it paid 20, 30 years ago. That job is paying the same rate. They were offering the same pay window for that job as it was when I used to work at that. When I haven't done that for 20 years or more. I'm like, damn, this is all you guys are offering? I mean, it hasn't changed. Let me go to the box, tap the screen. We'll make it happen with Johnny Rice. Good evening, Johnny. Ask Cuba if socialism works. I'll tell you, ask Cuba, are they better off now that America is limiting what they can and can't do? To me, Cuba, as long as America has its foot on the neck of Cuba, you can't use Cuba as an example of how socialism fails or whatever. They have outside interference that's hurting their country and their government. It's not like they're doing this on their own and the country's fucked up. America's involved in their business. Johnny, good evening.
What's up, my brother?
So what?
I'm gonna stick with the prompt. I'm gonna stick with the prompt you got up there.
Sure.
You know what I want Trump to actually say, and I voted for Trump 3 times. I'm MAGA. You call me whatever you want, racist.
I call you MAGA. I appreciate you coming on.
I can be whatever you all in the comments want to call me.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
Down there.
Be yourself.
I'm being myself. I am being myself, my brother. Here's the thing. I want to hear Trump say, fucking gas prices are coming down for the working man. Fucking food prices are coming down for the homes. That's what I want to hear.
You do realize he says that every year. You do realize he's been saying that the whole time, don't you? I mean, he said.
Listen, I voted for the man, and I'm telling you, I support the man, but he has disappointed me in the aspect of these gas prices, these food, these houses, all this bullshit has went to hell in a handbasket. And I'm with everybody else wanting low prices, man. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that. And if Elon Musk saved all those trillions of dollars, where the fuck is our rebate at? You know, I want to hear those things.
You're starting to sound like a rhino, sir. You know, if you ask those questions to President Trump, my red hat friends are going to call you a rhino.
Well, I might be a rhino. Goddamn, I'm 60-year-old. I probably am a rhino. Come on, bro. You know, how old are you? You're a rhino too.
I know. I never even claimed to be a Republican, so I can't be a rhino.
Well,
but listen,
I'm a rhino, I guess.
But I will say the aspects of our country that you pointed out, I do believe that is what most Americans want to hear. The problem is, Trump has promised this shit so much. Like, even if he tells you tonight that gas prices are going to come down like a rocket, I think that's what he said when the Strait of Hormuz was open, prices will come down like a rocket.
Oh, shit.
That's the point of it. I mean, that's the point. If he says, even if he says what you just stated, are you actually going to believe him?
Probably not, because I think the Hormuz ain't got not a damn thing to do with our gas prices. I really don't. I think Drill Baby Drill has a whole lot of goddamn shit to do with it.
Well,
man, I'm stuck on Drill Baby Drill. I'm stuck on low gas prices. I'm stuck on low food. I'm stuck on, hey, let's get her done. Let's America first. Period. Leave all the rest of that bullshit alone. Get to America. Get to the American people. Help us working class people out. Stop treading on our asses and help us.
Stop treading on us. I'll toast that to you. So let me ask you, in regards to America first, do you believe President Trump has been operating from an America first agenda?
I started out. Yes, I believed in his policies and what he was going after and what he was going to do, but somehow we went off track. I don't know. We went off track, man. We're off track.
There's a lot of MAGA that still thinks he's the best ever. Any idea why they see him totally different than you? You got a guest that wants to ask you some questions, but before you do, go ahead.
Again, bro, I'm MAGA. I told you I support him 100%. I just don't like what's going on at the time. The time is not what we need. We need everything to start working for America. Fuck all this.
What about the Iran war? Do you think that was in the best interest of America, as he states?
No, bro, I don't think that helped. But what did that help us? What did we accomplish? We didn't accomplish anything. We haven't accomplished anything at the moment. Really? I mean, honestly, we haven't.
I heard. I heard words like obliterated thrown in there. I mean, I heard words like their navy's at the bottom of the ocean.
Well, hey, man, if I stick with the prompt and I stick with what you say, I want cheaper.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm on your side with
that. Let's get back to America, man. We're forgetting about America. For some goddamn reason, we're forgetting about America. I'm an American man. I love my country. I love my folks in the country. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? And these shit is not working for me. It's not working for me. And in the comments, they can call me whatever they want. They can say what they want to say. I don't care about their racist little bits they throw out there. I don't care about that. What I care about is us get back to America. Fuck all this other bullshit.
Well, he still has 2 years. Mike, you got to guess. Mike, do you agree with this gentleman? I mean, what's wrong with focusing on America first, which is exactly what President Trump promised?
Well, first of all, Tim, he said some things that I don't disagree with, but it's probably in stark contrast to what he supports. And so that's why I came up to ask him a question about what I was hearing you say, Johnny.
Yeah.
It was never Donald Trump's intent to quote unquote make America first. This entire campaign has been about enriching rich people. Number one, first and foremost. And you can.
Well, wait, but Mike, everybody didn't know that.
Wait, what you saying? What now?
I mean, people believe what Trump says. Hell, even I believe some of it. What Trump promised, people believe him. They didn't know he was going to get in there and try to make billions of dollars personally. They didn't expect him to do that.
Here's my thing, Mike. Here's my thing about that. You know, poor people have to have rich people, or we don't have jobs. We've got to have the rich people to have jobs in this country. We don't need to run the rich people out of the country, because if so, we're going to lose. The working class people will lose if we don't have the millionaire status quo in this country.
Well, let me ask you this then, Johnny, because
yes, sir.
But here's the problem: is the rich aren't sharing. The rich aren't. Trickle down has never worked, so the rich are getting richer. Have you seen the recent wealth gap chart, Johnny? And how much has grown in the last 18 months?
Well, we've not grown a whole lot. We can't.
No.
We've not.
The wealth gap. Our economy, we have a K economy right now. Do you know what a K economy is, Johnny?
Yeah, it's pretty shitty, really.
Yeah, and it's growing, Johnny. But Johnny, here's the problem. It's growing. And the reason it's growing is because of what Donald Trump is doing. Here's the problem that I have with these conversations is Donald Trump and his administration and his supporters, and I'm not saying all of them, but quite a few of them. When I hear your concerns about Donald Trump, I don't hear MAGA. The only time I hear MAGA is when you say, I'm 100% MAGA, and you support him. But then as you continue talking, you had concerns at every turn, right? You had concerns about gas and groceries and America First and the Iran war. And you have concerns, legitimate concerns.
Well, maybe he's MAGA and not brainwashed MAGA.
Well, but you can't be MAGA and support Trump 100%, and then have these same complaints at the same time. Right, Johnny? Because I agree with your complaints. I agree with what he's saying and what he's doing. I probably did more.
I can support. No, I can support him 100%. That doesn't mean I have to like what he's doing. But I can still support him at 100%. It doesn't mean that I have to like what's going on.
Okay, cool. But if you say you support him 100%, that means you support everything he does. Because the minute you say that you don't support Iran, you don't support him 100%. The minute you say you don't agree with the economy and the direction we're going, you don't support him 100%. Right?
Johnny, hold on. Johnny, one of the things I asked you about the Iran war, you made it clear you don't think the Iran war is in the best interest of America. And I think that's where the disconnect, where Mike is saying, how can you say you support him 100%, but you don't support what he's doing? Then what are you supporting? Because that's his job, is to do stuff. If you admitting I don't support a lot of things he's doing, and you're saying you support him 100%, what are you supporting?
I am supporting his presidential. That's what I'm supporting. I'm supporting him as a president of the United States of America. I expected for America first. I expected America to have low gas prices. I expected America. Listen, we lived under a tough battle 4 years of the Biden administration. You can say we didn't, but we did. We did.
So you wait, hold on. So you
better now? Are we? Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Yes,
it sounds
we
like
did.
Johnny. What it sounds like you support.
Yeah, we had a hell of a.
You support. You sounds like you support President Trump, the campaigner. You support what he promised, and a lot of us do. But what he's actually delivering on, you don't support that. You want his campaign promises to be met, which unfortunately some of them can't be because we're out of time, like ending wars in 24 hours and stuff. But you support the campaigning Trump.
Well,
Yes,
Johnny.
I
Go
support
ahead.
the campaigning presidential candidate Trump.
Yeah.
right. And here's the problem with that.
I
Here's the
support him
problem.
as a president of the United States.
But so let me ask you this, Johnny, because you said that we suffered 4 years under Biden
Yeah.
versus where we are today. Are you saying that
Sure.
we're better off today than we were under Biden right now? And if you are, give me a metric,
Bro, what went on in the streets under Biden? What went on around the country in the streets under
What are you referring
Give
to?
give us some metrics. What are you referring to?
no,
He's breaking up.
I'm referring to they were out to sorry.
Yeah, your
Still.
signal's going in and out, but keep talking. We'll see if we can make it out. Give me what was going on in the streets under Biden.
Well, I mean, back under Biden, the Republican Party, if you supported the Republicans, you didn't have a shot in hell for nothing in this country under Biden. That's what I'm going at.
What, give me an example.
And if we
Give me an
did,
example.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. Go ahead. Keep going.
well, I mean, what could we do about it? You know, we had a president was led around by CIA, by his guards, by rabbits, by
I mean, how
this
can
and
you-
that, and we were told that his continent was really well. He was strong. He was a strong president, and we know, and we watched on TV that he was not a strong president. He was the most weakest president that we've ever had.
Well, okay. One of the things I want to point out.
Horrible.
Okay, one thing I want to point out. You said we
Carter
couldn't.
was horrible.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm not going to argue with you in regards to Biden's cognitive abilities because it does look like hindsight they were not good. But when you say that the Republican Party couldn't get anything under President Biden, Roe versus Wade, one of the biggest Republican victories, happened under Biden. So I don't get what you're saying. You got something you've been wanting for half a century. Under Biden, you got that.
Well, that's because we had more pull.
But you couldn't get
in the Senate
anything.
and the House at the time too.
Wait, you said you couldn't
We
get
couldn't
anything.
do anything. I'm talking about us working class people. What could we do? What could we do? We paid high gas prices. We paid high food prices under Biden. It's no different than it is right now under Trump.
But it was supposed. Wait a minute. Hold on, Johnny.
And-
Hold on, Johnny. Can we get back up just a little bit?
Let's calm down here a second. Let's get it together.
You're doing it, Johnny. You're not in hostile territory. Understand? I don't know what you saw in the comments. I let you speak here.
Yeah. But I do want to take a step back. You said we were the last 4 years, and I just asked you to support that, not by saying Republicans can get anything done, because that would virtually be impossible for the country to separate a Democrat or a Republican when it comes to going to get gas or going to buy groceries. So there was nothing focused or isolated to where Republicans face a different administration than the rest of the country, correct? Like, that's not a thing. It's not possible. Was it possible?
Well, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Do you think every time the Republicans went up for something, every time we turned around, there was a racial conflict that came up every time that we wanted a law passed or we wanted to pass a law? They tried to incite racial conflict between the melanated, the darker, and the lighter.
Give me some
They
examples.
wanted that. They wanted a war between
Well, who's
us.
they? And then if you could give us an example, I'd appreciate it before I respond.
I'm talking about out of the White House. I'm talking about
Biden? Talking about the Biden administration?
Kamala Harris. Yes, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
All of them was wanting racial conflict.
Yeah, no, that's
Half of
absolutely
America.
untrue, sir.
No, that's
Johnny,
true.
not-
That is
Okay,
true.
so Johnny, so give me a direct example, and then I'll give you 5 that came from the Republicans? You first.
Okay. Like I said, whenever the Republicans laid out a law plan,
give us one of those laws. Give us one of those laws.
There was always a racial conflict brought up that we were against the black people. All MAGA was against the black people.
Give us one of these. Yeah, we want to hear one of these. What law? Give me an example of a law the Republicans wanted that the Democrats were saying was racial.
Well, let me see. There was a couple that I watched that I didn't approve of, but they still passed through on the Democrat side. It seemed like every time we went to.
You're not giving me the law though. We're trying to get to the bottom.
Every time.
Give me an example of, if it's happening over and over again. Give me an example of one of those laws.
I'm trying to think of the laws that we were trying to get in law while they're under the 4 years of Biden. I'm trying to think of the law.
So while you're thinking, let me respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you're referring to. You're referring to what you. I don't know what your source is.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Well, I don't know what your sources are, whether it's Fox News or I don't know. And I'm not espousing that is your only source. But what I am saying is any racial tensions in this country while Biden was in office came from the Trump administration that was out of office. And here's how I can say that with confidence. Because all the racial issues that were happening in this country, all the stereotypes, all the cats eating dogs, racial. All the things about the shithole countries, racial. The other countries opening up their prisons and sending us all of their rapists and murderers and all of that. That came directly from Donald Trump. When you talk about bigotry, racism, all of that came from Donald Trump. I can play you clip after clip after quote, and Tim can verify everything I just said. I can show you that came out of his mouth and his administration's mouth. So it did not come from the Democrat Party. I'm sorry?
What did Maxine Waters say to everybody about, what did Miss Waters say about everything? If you see them in a line, face them. Go at them.
But
tear them down.
Johnny.
Go at them.
Johnny, you know, Johnny, you know Trump. Hold on, you know Trump said if you punch the guy, I'll pay your legal fees. He talking about putting criminals in the back of the car. Don't put your hand over their head. Just bang their. I mean, if you're gonna bring up Maxine Waters, you do realize your side was doing the same. Give me the laws you're talking about. We can talk about rhetoric because Trump has a ton of that to counter you with. But give me the racial laws you're talking about.
We wanted voter ID. When did we ever get it? We've never got it.
We've always had voter ID. We've always had voter ID. Johnny, you're 60 years old in Kentucky, right? Hold on, no, Johnny. Yes, you're in Kentucky. You're 60 years old.
2 minutes.
Right? Johnny, you're in Kentucky right now. You're 60 years old. What do you have to do to register to vote in Kentucky?
You got to show an ID, but that's not illegal.
Wait a minute, Johnny.
They voted illegally anyway.
Johnny, you're wrong, and I'm about to prove it to you. When you registered to vote in Kentucky, what did you have to do, sir? Johnny?
I had to show an ID.
But no, to register.
I still got to.
So in order to vote in Kentucky, you had to show an ID to register, right? Right? To register to vote. And now you're saying you still have to show an ID.
I registered to vote, yeah.
Right. And what did you do to register?
To go
in the poll to vote, you have to show an ID.
Are you already
registered an ID when you go to the... I'm registered now, yes.
Okay, answer this last question before the time runs out.
I'll give you another 5. Somebody want to hear from you a little bit longer. I'll keep you guys on a little longer.
Can you show me? I really would like you to say it if you can, Johnny. But I like to have these conversations, and I just.
And by the way, hold on, Mike. Johnny, understand. Despite your politics being different from some folks in the audience, You're welcome on this program all the time. You'll never be censored here, no matter what the hell you say. You can be critical of anyone, including me. So understand, you're a welcome guest here. This is. We're not that hostile like that. But go ahead, Mike. What were you saying?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, what's happened here, Johnny, and you're not going to. And I have some unfortunate news for you. You're not going to get the relief you're looking for from this Trump administration and this MAGA movement, because their intent was never, ever to bring wealth back to middle and lower class Americans. It was never to bring wealth and prosperity to rural counties in this country. And everything you guys have voted for and supported, like let me give you an example. Do you support the Big Beautiful Bill?
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
He's got money for ICE in here.
Did you read the Big Beautiful Bill, Johnny?
No, but you know,
did you read any economy's assessment of it?
Well, I mean, you know, the Beautiful Bill was going to it was going to bring the economy up. Sure, it was.
No,
sure
sorry. So
it was going to help the economy.
No, it passed,
Johnny.
It passed.
Based on what? But Johnny, based on but Johnny, based on what information? What research did you, or do you just believe what they're telling you?
Well, I ain't researched a lot of shit. I watch the news, and I know I don't watch Fox, brother.
I got
don't
you.
say
That's
that.
cool.
I don't watch Fox.
No. I didn't say you did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, Johnny. I said I don't know,
Bro.
Johnny. I specifically said.
You said Fox.
No, I said
You
I
said
don't
Fox.
know.
You're full of shit.
Johnny, listen to what I said, Johnny. I specifically said I don't know if Fox is your news source.
I'll tell you something though.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that. It's interesting you say that, Johnny, though, because it must gotten so bad. We started out with you can't trust MSNBC and CNN. Fox News has gotten so bad that even MAGA now, you know, they enter conversations like, I don't watch Fox. You guys admitting that Fox is biased.
Fuck
Hold on, Johnny. I don't want to move away
Fuck
from
them all.
But John,
Fuck them all for all I care.
I want to get back to the Big Beautiful Bill, and I wanted to give you this example because you listened to what they told you the benefits would be, but you didn't look at any economists and their assessment on the impact of the Big Beautiful Bill. Do you know how it impacted Kentucky from this perspective, from a healthcare perspective?
I don't think the Beautiful Bill was going to affect Kentucky, but I think Andy Beshear, our governor, affected Kentucky, brother.
What do you mean?
Not the president. Our governor affected Kentucky, not our president. I think Andy Beshear had more of downfall for Kentucky than President Trump.
In what way? I'm curious, because he could be a presidential candidate. In what way do you believe Andy Beshear has negatively affected Kentucky?
I hope to hell he's not a candidate for president. I hope to hell he don't get selected, because
but
Andy Beshear.
I don't. Go ahead. I really don't want to move away from. But go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Andy Beshear. You know, I done rallies against Andy Beshear when he had the mass mandates here in Kentucky. I rallied and protested against at the Capitol in Frankfurt against his mass mandates, because he was killing mom and pop businesses with his mass mandates. But him and his family was allowed to go to any restaurant in Kentucky or anywhere else, sit down and have a meal with people, but nobody else was. So Andy Beshear hurt Kentucky. He crippled Kentucky's economy when it was booming. Yeah, go ahead.
Fair enough. We won't go too deep in it, but fair enough. Yeah. Mike, what did you want to? Because we are getting short on time. But what did you want to?
Yeah, we are. This is what I wanted to say too, and because you're not aware and you didn't study the Big Beautiful Bill. Do you understand how much health care you're going to lose in your state because of the Big Beautiful Bill over the next 10 years?
I'm willing for you to educate me, and I'm willing for you to educate me on the Beautiful Bill, and then I'll give you.
So, are you on Medicaid or Medicare at
all? Go ahead.
Are you on Medicaid?
I'm not.
Okay,
sir.
You're the state of Kentucky.
No, sir, I'm not old enough.
Yeah, your signal's going in and out a little bit, Johnny. But go ahead. We heard you say you're not on it. You're not on it. Go ahead, Mike.
Over 10 years in the state of Kentucky, Medicaid spending is going to be cut by $880 billion. There's rural hospitals in Kentucky that will be closing because of the big, beautiful bill and the cuts. You got Medicaid, Medicare, you've got SNAP benefits. You have a lot of benefits that are being cut. And you know where that money went, Johnny? You remember those millionaires you said we need? And those billionaires you said that we need? That's where the money went, Johnny. He took the money out of Kentucky and gave it to his friends. Johnny?
What friends?
His billionaire friends, the rich people, the billionaires, the 1%.
Name them.
You want me to name them by name?
Sure. We're out here on an open forum. Go ahead. Tell me who Donald Trump actually gave the money out of Kentucky. Tell me who he gave it to. Who's the people he gave it to?
Jesus Christ. Okay, so let me walk you through this.
Then turn around and tell me that every politician in the White House ain't taking money on both sides, not just one side.
Well, I'll answer. Hold on. I'll interject. I'll interject and say this: when you're constantly giving tax cuts, that money got to come from somewhere, and that's when. Now, I'm not going to name anybody specifically. But when you're constantly allowing the wealthiest people in this country to contribute less and less, that their money was going to stuff. So if you're not demanding anything from them, then that stuff that their money was going to, you got to cut that stuff. I mean, think about how much tax money went to USAID. Well, once you cut USAID, people are keeping that money. That money wasn't coming from the average working person like you and me. It was coming from a lot of those folks. So there's no name specifically, but folks in the upper classes, the elite, are benefiting greatly as we continue cutting off social program after social program.
But they benefited greatly under the Democrat Party as well.
How?
No, sir.
They all did.
No,
Yes,
sir. See, here's the problem, Johnny. We're having this conversation. You've already told me that you haven't really read this stuff, so you're just going on feelings, not facts. But you do. But here's the thing. But you're feeling what we're saying because your concerns about this administration align with what we're saying, not with what you're defending. Does that make sense? Like, you're defending the Trump administration in one hand, and in the other hand, you're complaining about the very things.
All right. I got to move it on, Mike. I'll give Johnny the last word. Mike, if you got one more question, Mike, go ahead. But I do got to move it, and I'll give Johnny the last word. Go ahead.
He needs more time. He needs more time. Shit.
We'll make it happen in the future. Johnny's always welcome here. Mike, I'll go ahead and drop you. Johnny's always welcome. All right, Mike. Johnny. Yeah. Go ahead. If you got a last word, go ahead.
I don't want Mike to leave just yet. I want to.
Well, other people are trying to get him.
Leave just yet.
Yeah, well, you get him again in the future.
I understand, but I want to tell him. I have no issues with him whatsoever. I have no issues with no one else whatsoever. I picked my president. I voted for my president. He is my president. I support him. I just don't like the outcome we have right at the moment. That's it.
Fair enough.
Name of the game is Get Back to America.
All right, he got 2 years left.
I appreciate you letting me on.
Anytime. He has 2 years left, assuming he wins the midterms. If he loses the midterms, you've kind of seen what you're going to get out of him, because the Democrats are not going to cooperate with him at all going forward. So if he don't win the midterms in 3 months, this is it. What you see now is all you're going to get. Johnny, thanks for coming through.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Tap the screen to get the likes on up to 60,000. I enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. We always enjoy hearing callers from all sides of the aisle. So understand you don't have to have any, your political opinion does not have to be the same as anybody else's on this program. We don't censor or limit you because you got a difference of opinion. Tap the screen, get us up to 60,000. We'll take the next caller. In the comments, CW2 on the horizon, dark days ahead. Hope we can learn to love being Americans before. See, you talking about civil conflict on the Civil war on it. Well, I don't want us to have a civil conflict. Only thing I could see right now that would lead to a civil conflict in this country is what I kind of see what's going on right now, and that is President Trump trying to dictate how the midterms will turn out. If he takes a hands-off approach on the midterms, I think we're pretty safe from a major civil conflict. But if he does what he's trying to do in regards to the midterms, it could lead to that. Because you're gonna if folks know for certain the person that won the election is not the person that actually got the votes. You see what happened on January 6th. You're going to have a lot more people if it's easy to prove. So, and not only would you have widespread protests, but you've kind of gotten a good chance of seeing that Trump doesn't talk people down. He escalates the problem up. So if the liberals are pissed off because they think they got cheated, for instance, and they start protesting, Trump's going to be heavy-handed. He's going to send in, whether it's ICE or whether it's the National Guard, they're going to be sent in, and their goal is going to be shut these motherfuckers up at all costs. So that's what could lead to some serious civil problems, is that, this is my opinion, I don't feel confident that if the country gets on its, if the country gets up in arms, I don't feel confident that Trump is the right person to talk us all back into sanity. He's going to speak on behalf of one side and tell you the other side is the problem. So that's not going to help the situation out. So I can see it in that case. If the socialist cult takes over, the United States is done within a year, will be worse than a third world nation, and the communist elites will flee the country. The only person I'm hearing talking about communism is Trump and the right. There are plenty of Democrat politicians running for office all over this great nation. None of them are claiming communism. Very few of them are claiming socialism. Yet the right makes it sound like every Democrat in every nook and corner of this country are promoting communism and socialism. Look, I'll call them out if I see them. I tend to try to be as close to the center as I can. But to me, that's just boogeyman type shit. That's just boogeyman type shit. I mean, it's just like when Obama was running for president. He also was being told that if you elect Obama, he's going to turn America into socialist Greece. At the time, Greece had a failed economy. So they were saying Greece. Then all of a sudden, Venezuela had the failed economy. So they stopped saying Greece when Greece got back on its feet. And they started saying that any Democrat was going to turn the country into socialist Venezuela. Now that Trump is in control of Venezuela, they don't really have a country to give you anymore, which is what I've been able to prove to you with every caller that said, well, name me a country. They don't really have a country to give you anymore. So, but to me, it's just a boogeyman thing. I don't look at AOC or Bernie Sanders or even Mamdani and see China or Russia in them. I just don't see that. And if I did, I would tell you. Looking in the comments, socialism is the kissing cousin of communists. Well, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but no one is running on that. Nobody is running on that. Let me go back to the box. You got three well-known politicians, Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, who's in his 80s, and I guess AOC to some degree. Other than that, the overwhelming majority of the Democrats, probably over 99% of Democrat politicians are not talking about socialism. Yet the right is saying the old Democrat Party is going socialist and communist. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed. The average politician, I'm talking all the way from city councilman all the way up to mayor and governor, that has a Democrat label behind. None of them are claiming socialism or communism. None of them are. It's just being created and thrown out there by the folks on the right. None of them are saying it. Over 99% of Democrat politicians are not claiming that. Going back to the box, we'll make it happen with Brooklyn, I think that says. Good evening, Brooklyn. Tap the screen, get us on up to a 70,000. Help your boy with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goals. We're pretty low on that. Show the program some love. Brooklyn, good evening. Brooklyn,
hello.
can you hear me? Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you.
What brings you up, Brooklyn? Good evening.
So you support Trump, right?
No.
Oh, me neither. We like you. We like you.
You sound pretty young, Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, I got a pretty young voice, but I'm not under 12.
What year were you born?
What year was I born? 2008.
Okay. I'm going to have to move on. You're a little young for this show. I appreciate you coming through, though. All right, tap the screen, get the likes on up, if you will. We got to keep it 18 or older. I mean, TikTok already censors and all of that shit as it is, but we can't be engaging in conversations with folks that are underage. They can't even vote, by the way. Tap the screen, get the likes up. In the comments, many people will seek to enter heaven and not be able because they continue in sin. Okay, I don't know where that comes in here. Tap the screen. I said, let me put my daughter on left, my ass Shanti. Yeah, like I said, we're trying not to engage in folks that are that young. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 70,000, if you will. Help your boy out with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goes. I wish someone would global warm my burrito. Good luck on that. We need segregation back to get to know ourselves and not keep building up a system that hates our guts. You think most of America, you already kind of have segregation. If you don't like African Americans, or you don't like Asians, or you don't like Caucasians, it's pretty easy to get away from them. I mean, we already have a significant amount of segregation. Outside of the major cities, you're already segregated. Most of the smaller rural areas in America are white. I mean, there's a few rural areas down in the South. If you want to be all black, it ain't. You don't need segregation. You already have it. I mean, unless you're just saying you want it in the major cities. But outside of the major cities, it's fairly one-sided. Tim in the comments, New Vision says, Tim, do you think Trump is dividing Americans intentionally? The man is quoted as saying, I hate all Democrats. You can't get any more divisive than that. Chicago is a shithole. Baltimore is a shithole. You can't get any more divisive than that. I want a total and complete ban on all Muslims. These are quotes I'm giving you. You can't get any more divisive than that. Mexico's not sending their best and brightest. They're sending us their rapists and murderers. I mean, yeah, he's trying. I mean, have you heard him say anything about Caucasians recently? Yeah, he's being divisive. You can't get any more divisive than that. He's calling out particular groups of people and saying horrible shit about them. You can't get any more divisive than that. New Vision, appreciate the hat, mustache. Thank you for the support. In fact, have you ever heard him say anything positive about any Muslim in America at all? Have you ever heard him say anything positive about any immigrant in America at all? I mean, it's all negative. Yeah. He's trying to be divisive. Trump fits every characteristic of the Antichrist, according to the Bible prophecies. Yikes. As Trump sold his property in New York City, why, if all the millions are going to leave, why hasn't he sold his shit? It's a good question. I can't respond to that. I don't know. Let me go back to the box. Republicans have no actual policy, so they have to run on everybody's a communist, everybody's a Marxist, everybody's a socialist. Republicans do have a policy, but you are correct. Right now, you cannot ask the question right now for most Americans. You know, they often say, are you better than you were 4 years ago? Trump really cannot say, are you doing better than you were under the Biden administration, and get a genuine answer. I mean, there's a lot of people that are not doing better right now than they were under President Biden. So the only other option is what you just said. Then find something negative about the other side to say, because we don't have a lot positive about our side right now. In the comments, we'll bring up Barkawi. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Are you there? Okay, apparently that guest is not there, so we'll move on with the show. Tap the screen, get us on up to 70,000, if you will. And we're to Mike. What does that say here? Oh, we got Dark. Dark, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hey, hello, Tim. Welcome. Greetings from my from a humble abode, my humble kingdom. I will tell you, I'm mad because you didn't bring up Mike, but I ain't salty about that.
You want me to drop you and bring him up?
No. I'm gonna make it real quick for you, right?
All right.
The last person that you had that Mike was talking to, completely pointless. It was completely horrible.
I don't see that. He has a different. Why is he pointless?
No. It's not because of the difference of opinion. It was cringy. It was bad to listen to, right? You literally sat there and told him, Mike literally sat there and proved every single point that he had wrong. And then he turned into a snowflake when he thought he heard Mike said he watched Fox News. That's beyond the point, okay? I'm just going to stay out because, I'm trying to get you to Mike, right? Look, here's the thing. We all know what Trump is about to do. He's about to take an hour and ramble around and talk bullshit and not ever actually say what the because this isn't even a State of the Union address. This is just some 80-year-old fat guy standing in front of a microphone with a fucking teleprompter rambling on about bullshit that nobody even knows. How many times do you think tonight you're going to smell that gaseous windbag blow fucking chunks?
Tell me you don't have Trump derangement syndrome with all this shit. They're going to say you got TDS there.
Do you think I care? That's the same reason that's the same reason I got this name. I'm still here. This reminds me of The Matrix, the second part where Morpheus is standing in Zion and he gives this whole speech about how the robots have been trying to unalive him. You motherfuckers send me death threats on King Finn, right? You did all that you could to get King Finn canceled. Guess what? I'm still here.
Well, Scarface said the same shit right before the shotgun blast, right?
I will await that bullet with awesome glee if you can make the shot, bitch.
All right, Mike.
I'm not Trump. I'm not Trump. My cartilage doesn't grow back. So if you feel like you that tough to come test me, please do so. I welcome it. Please do so. I could give less than a fuck. That is not gonna stop me because even in death, I have motherfucking videos and tapes and motherfuckers playing while I'm fucking his ass up.
That shit is wild. Shit myself. Oh, I'm gonna have to use that. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
What is
that? That is crazy. That is crazy.
That's wild. I need to play that. I gotta get that. What is that?
I don't know, but it's crazy. It draws attention. What did Will Ferrell say? I don't know, but it's provocative. So
they need to play that. They need to play that while this speech is going on.
Oh no!
I need that song. I'm gonna make a video tonight about that shit tonight. I'm gonna take parts of his speech and just play that fucking song.
You do not disrespect the commander-in-chief, sir.
Fuck him. He disrespect everybody. He disrespects America by standing up there claiming to be a fucking president. Our whole fucking people look at us and other countries that are laughing at us right now. They're laughing at him. He's eroded our whole fucking system of allies. It's a forever war that we can't even do nothing about.
How can you call it the war's only been going on for 3 months? You had forever war already?
You know what? Because it's the same shit as the WMDs. The same shit. You were dumb enough to fall for the lies that is not real told you. And now you over there got our motherfucking brothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, and uncles in the fucking sandbox for no apparent reason except for your ignorant ass ways. Yeah. No.
I can't listen. I like to push back and be the devil's advocate where I think there is some, but I gotta agree with you. To me, what I'm seeing so far, that Iran war does look like it's over lies. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that shows that the reason we went in there was based on the genuine truth. A lot of MAGA now, MAGA's slowly coming around, but even a lot of MAGA, you heard that guest that you're criticizing, even he don't like the Iran war. Even MAGA's now realizing, because Trump has said so many things, positive and rosy sounding things about the Iran war, and here we are, several months later, the war is going on just like it was the day it began. Despite all of the Trump saying the gas is coming down, the strait is open, the Navy's at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, all of that stuff is meant for nothing.
And again, we're fighting a war against a foe that's literally 16 times older than us. Those people aren't going anywhere. That is the kingdom of Persia. Do you understand what that means? That means they've been there a long fucking time.
we could do some serious damage if we're willing to take some serious casualties.
Come on, Tim. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do when it comes time to foot that bill that they're asking for? Because literally, he can't walk away from it. And they're asking for how many billions of dollars? Excuse me, they're not asking; they're leveraging.
I mean, look, let's just address the elephant in the room. At the end of the day, history is probably going to judge us as having lost that war. We're going to lose the Iran war, and Iran is going to get money from the Strait of Hormuz out of that, probably going forward. I mean, we're going to lose that. The end result is we're going to come out of the Iran war saying that we lost that.
Tim, please correct yourself. We're going to lose? Is that really what you're saying?
We're not officially there yet because the war ain't over.
Excuse me?
It's not over yet.
Our gas prices, global gas prices are in the shitter.
There's a lot of room, sir, for them to get worse. You could be paying $6 or $7 a gallon. This ain't nowhere. I mean, we were paying more for gas than we are right now just a few weeks ago. It can get a lot worse.
Oh, and then there's the thing about them finally bringing him up on charges for manipulation of the markets. You know, because they're doing that too, right? All of his chickens are coming home to roost. And much like my favorite brother Malcolm said, I, for one, don't get upset when chickens come home to roost.
I think if you're expecting, you say chickens coming on roost, if you're expecting Trump to face any real accountability, I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Now, his minions, his associates and family and members of his administration, a lot of them are going to pay a heavy price. But Trump, I would say don't expect no serious accountability from Trump.
The serious accountability I'm looking for is for the Reaper to come take him along with Lindsey Graham ass.
No, shit, he's made 80 years of age. It ain't like he didn't live a full life. I mean, he's already 80. That's a long time in itself.
Yeah, it is. Hate a lot like racism lasts a long time.
Well, he may be around for another 10. I want to hear now. Your boy Mike is here. Mike, what did you want to add to this?
Go ahead, please.
Hey, what's up, fam?
Mike?
Slow motion. Hey, listen, what I really wanted to, and I really hope Johnny's still in the room because, and this might surprise both of you guys, but Tim, this is what I'm always talking about. You know, I'll be on your panel and they call me racist. Johnny is a man that is believing in the privilege that this country told him he would have.
Yes.
I'm not even knocking him. I'm not even knocking the fact that he feels that way. That's what they promised him. They promised him that he would be okay, right?
Okay.
He didn't need anything to support it. He just believed what they told him. Exactly. He can't accept, even though he told you. He told you, I don't like the war. I don't like the economy. I don't like that. And we didn't even get into it. We could have went into tariffs.
Short-term pain, long-term gain. And by the way, folks, tap the screen, get us up to 80,000. Short-term pain, long-term gain. I don't like what Trump is doing now, but I believe this is some short-term pain that we're accepting, and he's going to end up turning things around. A lot of folks believe that, Mike.
Yeah, but he didn't say that either, Tim. I want to be.
That's what he believes, though. That's the only reason That's the only reason you'd hold on.
No, Tim. He doesn't. He is not. He doesn't. He's not holding on for the belief that it's going to be what you said, like he's enduring the short-term pain for long-term gain. That's not it at all.
No.
He is so far gone down the MAGA rabbit hole.
You think Johnny is a cultist? You think that guest is a cult member?
Yes.
I don't think so.
And the sad part is, Tim, hold on, Tim. Hear me out. Because this is the part that you guys miss about this. That doesn't mean that he is a bad person. I've been trying to tell you this. It means that what else can he believe in, Tim? Because he's demonized everything else.
Well, how about this?
What else can he believe in?
Well, how about this? In the comments, Elena, she says, you voted for Biden and shut it for years, and now you're crying? The hypocrisy of the liberals never disappoints. So in other words, you're bitching about Trump after voting for Biden.
But again, whoever that person was can't support what she or he just said. Neither can Snowbird or Bake Boss, because you notice, and you said this, Tim, they never bring their asses up to have a conversation with me because they know they can't. Now, here's what I'm going to say to that, Tim. They, as soon as that person said that, I'm just saying I'm going to give that person that. But you also said that everything Biden did was shit. You also said that you voted for Trump to be the opposite of all of that. And he has exasperated everything you said that Biden wasn't good at. He has taken it and said, hold my beer. And while he simultaneously, Finn, is taking it from him. And that's the crazy part. Even Snowbird is they keep telling me to please get help, but this is the funny part about it. I can do something you can't do. I can point you and show you. If you tell me your state, Snowbird, in 30 seconds, I can tell you which counties are being fucked by the big beautiful bill, but I bet you couldn't.
And I will second some of that by simply saying, if Biden was one of the worst presidents we've had in recent history, Trump's numbers should be way better than Biden. And even if you're MAGA economically and in a lot of other areas, you can't even say that. I mean, if he is that bad, then Trump should be outperforming him on, in multiples. And he's not. Gas prices, the economy, inflation. He's not doing that much better than Biden, the guy you said that's the worst we've had in a long time. That's bad.
Spending is out of control. I'm sorry, go ahead, Finn.
Mike, wait. Wasn't that me and you weren't you that one that was sending around? We were all talking about it. The actual map of states, percentages of people who are all working full time but are still requiring or needing Medicaid.
Yes.
Needing the programs that they're getting rid of literally every fucking day. Like every state in this whole fucking country has at least the number 40% or above of working full-time fucking adults need Medicaid because they cannot pay their fucking medical bills. They cannot afford the insurance. So what are we talking about? Let's stop playing the blame game. And you motherfuckers who have had Congress and the fucking president in the office, you've had time. Name one bill other than the big beautiful bill, which is screwing everybody, that this Congress has passed. You can't, because they are literally the party of no.
Well, in the comments, I got one guest. Slyke is saying Trump bring back millions of jobs Biden made go to foreign countries. The response is simple. Most of that is based on what Trump is telling you. Those jobs have not officially come back yet. Trump is saying he's received all kind of commitments from companies to bring jobs and manufacturing back. Trump says a lot of shit that don't come true. If it comes true, I'm with you, but that ain't happened yet.
Just like they said. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No. And this is Johnny. If you're still here, and for Snowbird, any of you that ever want to challenge me to what I say, Tim, this is Kentucky policy. This is a report from the state of Kentucky. This line that I'm about to highlight, so you don't have to big box me. Kentucky has 35 rural hospitals at heightened financial risk from these cuts, including closure, the most of any state.
Damn.
The most of any state. Do you guys want me to go on? Listen, I'm not gonna ever get up here and say something that I haven't read or can't research. So Snowbird, tell me your state. Since you're in the comments,
Mike, I think you're missing it. Mike, I think you're missing the mark. I don't think they care about. You ever heard of the phrase? And I'm not going down the road of racism here, but a lot of folks on the left say stuff like racism and hate is expensive and stuff like that. The point I'm making is they wanted the big beautiful bill for ICE to go after all these immigrants. They don't give a fuck at any of the cost. If you're going to get rid of all of these millions of people that Biden left in. The point is, I'll pay any cost, even if it means shutting down my local hospital. So when you read, the big beautiful bill gave a fortune to ICE. Is that not true?
No, it's true. It's true what you said. No, listen to me. It's true what you said, but that's not how they sold it. See, they didn't tell them that they were going to lose their hospitals.
No, but they don't care though, Mike. They don't. They don't care.
That's not true, Tim. And see, this is what might surprise you. They do care now. Do you remember when they were having those town halls? When they started finding out what the Big Beautiful Bill was going to do? And those people gave a fuck. And the Big Beautiful Bill hadn't kicked in yet. They care. And now it's kicking in. And if you talk to them where they can feel
they don't care enough that they're straying away from Trump. Yeah, they said, like my last guest, the guest you guys are talking about. If Trump could run for a fourth time, you think he'd vote for him?
Do what? Yes.
Right. So they're bitching about a few things here and there, but they still haven't separated from Trump. They favor what he's doing.
Here's the thing. Let me segment that back. Johnny, if you're still in here, I'm not going to put that on you. I believe what I heard he would because he won't accept the facts. But I don't believe he has all the facts.
At all.
I don't believe he has the facts. Now, I'm going to give Johnny some grace. This might surprise you. I do believe if he had more facts in his face, he would assess more. I do. Because, Tim, the man literally sat here and gave you 5 things he's not comfortable with. But what are in his mind, he doesn't have an option. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I think the issue
socialism.
I think and that's true too. They believe that socialism, just like they believe that transgender. I mean, Trump has got them believing that these boogie monsters under the bed are going to destroy them to the point where, if Trump doesn't do everything perfect, we have a problem with him doing this. We want the economy or gas prices down, but he's convinced them that the Democrats are going to destroy the whole fucking planet. So they're willing to accept that. I gotta move it on. I'll get you wrap it up, but I do gotta move it on for time.
All I'm asking, I appreciate you bringing me up because I gotta go to Finn. Always good to see you. What I'm saying is this, Tim. They just don't want to look under the bed because if they look under, I told you this a long time ago. If they look under the bed and they find nothing there, it blows up their entire fucking existence, Tim. Exactly. Because and most people are afraid to do that. When you look at communism, every country that's led that is a quote-unquote communist country, somehow Trump loves them motherfuckers. Make that make sense.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's spoken positively of Xi Jinping. He's spoken positively of Kim Jong-un. He's spoken positively of Putin. Mike, thanks for coming through. I got to move it on, King. But that is true. He's spoken positively of all of those communist countries that they're suggesting that are horrible for the country. In fact, Trump has been incredibly critical of the capitalist countries. Most of the Western European leaders in NATO and shit like that, you heard what he said about Canada? He's more critical of leaders in capitalist countries. Go figure. Tap the screen in the comments. One of the guests says, I can't listen to a motherfucker like Mike. Or not, always said, like Trump. So I can't listen to a motherfucker like Trump. His ideas are old as fuck. He doesn't have anything to lose. He'll be deceased before he faces any ramifications. If he was 40, he'd be stepping a lot lighter. Yeah, I don't think Trump is going to face any accountability. And I'm not going to pretend like Trump hasn't done anything wrong. I absolutely believe he's not going to face any accountability. And maybe it might be a case of whoever the Democrat is that replaces him believes that it's not in the best interest of the country in terms of unity and moving on to keep going after him. I mean, he will probably be, Lindsey Graham type soon. I mean, he's 80 plus years old. It ain't like he's going to be Betty White. So, I don't expect any accountability from President Trump. But with emphasis on just a ton of members of his administration, associate, there's going to be a lot of heads rolling under Trump. I don't expect Trump to face any accountability, but people going to be losing their law licenses. People are going to be, testifying under their oath. People are going to face some steep punishment. There's a lot of educated people that are following Trump's orders that know what he is telling them to do is wrong. You just heard the other day a judge is now sending the new DOJ wannabe. They're submitting him to the bar because he's been following all of Trump's this whole IRS deal where Trump gets billions of dollars that he wanted to give to the January 6th protesters and he can't be audited, him or his family members for the rest of his life. That's a bullshit deal. Releasing or leaking Trump's tax returns, that didn't cause him anywhere near enough damage for the government to just rush and offer him a gold mine settlement like that. My guess is you could have probably held a trial for Trump in a liberal city like New York where they don't like him at all. And I still do not think they would have gave him as much shit. Or better yet, let's say they held a trial for Trump in Alabama where they really love Trump. Somewhere in a deep red state, you know, outside of Mar-a-Lago somewhere where they really love Trump about his taxes being released. So he's suing the IRS for his tax. I don't think he would have won from a MAGA-friendly audience anywhere near as much as what the government gave him. Billions of dollars, and he can't be audited or his family members for life. I don't even think a MAGA jury would have gave him that. Like, that is crazy that they rushed and settled and just basically threw all kinds of money and shit at him. So the judge stepped in and said, this is bullshit. Sounds like she has thrown that deal completely out. And now she sent the lawyer, the DOJ lawyer that gave it to him, up for review. Leaking his tax returns look, you generally want to make somebody whole when there's wrong. There's no way he should have got all of that for just leaking his tax returns. In the comments, Pig Shooter says, so you wouldn't want the same. They did that because they knew they were, no, they didn't. First of all, you're suing the IRS for leaking your taxes. And the guy who's making a settlement with you is a guy you appointed that used to be your own private lawyer in your public life. And we're supposed to believe that this is a fair arrangement? Unbiased? I mean, shit, if you heard me getting a windfall from a lawsuit and you found out that the state's representative that gave me it was my mom, you wouldn't question that? This is not some fair and impartial person. This is his former fucking lawyer that he appointed to that position, now making a huge settlement in his favor on behalf of the government. You don't see no corruption possibly in that at all, huh? None at all. Okay. Looking in the comments, tax to buy, collect, tax when sell, tax for ownership, tax for income. A lot of taxes. Republicans that are in office, they haven't convicted anyone, including Hunter. Well, that's what, by the way, I got a poll on YouTube going on. Simple question. Almost 70 responded so far. I just started it. Which president was better for America, Biden or Trump? That's on YouTube. 68 responded so far. 61% are saying Biden. Wow, I didn't expect that. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 90,000, if you will. The statute of limitations had ran out also. Yeah, the government should have let Trump have a trial and pursue damages for his taxes being released. They should. I mean, like I said, they rushed and settled with him and gave him more than most juries would have awarded him. People get killed and don't get anywhere near that kind of money. People do settlements for being murdered by the government, by police, by agents and shit. They don't get nowhere near just leaking his tax returns. There's no way he should have gotten nothing like that. Thank you for the TikTok cap, whoever just sent that. I don't know what I just hit here, but thank you for that. It was that Lewis. Thank you. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Welcome to the program. Hopefully the IRS goes away soon. That ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna leak. You don't want to. How you gonna get rid of the IRS? So what? Nobody pays taxes. There's nobody to manage it. MAGA. Good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. Trump, 9 p.m. Central tonight. Are you going to be tuned in?
Yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So what are you expecting him to say?
I don't know. I'm hoping he has a solution to this Iran problem. But supposedly he's going to be covering the 2020 election, I heard. Is that from you or is that like actually real?
That's from most of the media outlets. 2020, because the Save America Act is something he's really promoting. Now, you favor the Save America Act, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Why? Explain why you favor it.
I mean, you see California, how crazy elections there are. The LA mayor election, that just shows you that they're fucking cheating and you guys ignore it.
How was the LA?
This will make sure.
What do you mean when you what happened in California to make you see?
Actually, I don't want to talk about elections too much because I always get flagged every time we talk about it.
All right,
but
fair enough.
basically, the homeless were freaking paid to vote, and yeah, and there's clear evidence of it. You keep swearing there's no evidence. There's fucking evidence all over YouTube. There's people getting arrested.
Here's what I don't.
What more evidence do you want?
Well, here's what I don't get. And you're doing kind of what Trump and a lot of MAGA does. You see evidence on the left. I mean, the fake electors. You don't.
There's federal charges. There's local charges.
No, but what I'm saying, have you not seen any improprieties or cheating from the right? Is all the cheating you're seeing only on the left?
I mean, this is cheating we could stop. I don't want cheating from either sides. And you know what you always say is, why doesn't he go after it when he wins? He won and he's still going after it, but you're just fucking continuing to find other bullshit excuses.
No.
I mean, he won and he's trying to make elections more secure by passing these laws.
There's no way you're going to wait. No, wait a minute. Hold on. There's no way in hell you're going to send Tulsi Gabbard to polling places to snatch up data and stuff and tell me you're trying to make elections fair. No, you're trying to win. You're trying to do things that are in your favor.
How do you investigate fraud? That's how you investigate fraud, Tim. How else do you investigate fraud? You see, like, this is why they never catch it, because the smallest things they do to investigate it, you guys cry foul.
If you're not going, hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. If you're not going into Republican areas to look for anything, you're not investigating fraud, MAGA. Have you heard Trump doing anything whatsoever in red areas at all? It's all Democrat stuff.
First of all, most red areas are too small to matter.
What?
And we know there was fishy things going on in those fucking counties. Yeah, because it takes 20 or 30 small red areas to match that one Fulton County. So it takes like 30 of them to match one of the blue ones, because all the freaking Republicans are spread out over small areas. Well, all the Democrats are in one spot, so it's easy to cheat in one spot versus 20 spots.
So in other words, because red areas tend to be less populated, they could be cheating all day long. You're not even going to look in those areas because it ain't enough of them.
No, because you have to cheat in 20 of them.
How do you know that ain't happening? If you're not looking, how do you know that ain't happening? It may be cheating in 20 of them.
Because it's a lot easier to catch them if they're cheating in 20 places versus one.
If you're not, I don't.
20 more people.
If you're not looking, you're not looking though. If you're making up excuses for why you're only looking at, well, it's more of them, or it's a bigger city. You're making up excuses.
I want them to look. I want them to look. I want them to make it harder. I want them to eliminate the things that make it easy to cheat, which including not having strict. I don't even want strict. Just any voter ID laws. Just reasonable voter ID laws. Reasonable use of mail-in ballots.
Yeah,
not massive. Everyone gets one.
How do you respond to
fucking violation? Yeah, I gotta stop. I already got a violation.
Okay.
No more election talk.
All right,
just gonna get me fucking
because Elon paid people, and that didn't come up out of your conversation at all. Elon absolutely paid people to get involved in that stuff. So, but in addition,
you know what, make a lot out of that shit too. But at least those people were,
You're not going to.
That's a different situation.
You're not going to get a law from Trump to avoid that stuff because Trump ain't even complaining about it. He was in favor of Elon paying people. He's okay with, which is why I keep saying that he's not here to secure this shit.
No, this act will make it harder for everybody. This will make it harder for everybody because you're not going to be able to do 300 or 400 or 500 mail-in ballots.
The problem is the act is only as good as the enforcement, man. If you pass an act, but Elon in the Department of Justice after him, then it's irrelevant. You pass an act to prevent people from doing shit, but only people you punish when you catch them doing it is Democrats. That way the act is not even valid. That's what they would do. Is that if Trump, you think Trump is going to have a DOJ go after Elon Musk?
I mean, if he did something wrong, go for it.
They're not going to do that. Come on now. MAGA, we've been talking long enough for me to know damn well that Trump ain't going to send the DOJ after Elon even if he does something wrong. You know that ain't going to happen.
Then you guys could do it when you're in charge. But I don't see what Elon did as the same as what these guys are doing. Because these guys are doing it in massive numbers in a place where you could harvest the votes. And they're paying $2 a person versus, Elon doesn't have enough money to
Let
pay
me
everybody.
ask you another
Whatever the hell he
question.
was paying.
Okay, we can agree to disagree. But
And Elon is not sitting on top of them when they do it. Elon doesn't go
I
in
don't
and
look,
for them when he does it.
if
That's the
you're
difference, Tim.
giving
Like, you
money
can pay them all you
out,
want.
you don't have to be sitting on top of them. If you give me $1 million and then I go and walk down the street and cast a ballot, he probably did. Bullshit. If you gave me $1 million, I'm gonna vote for who you told me.
Okay with that. I would be okay with that. Pay all you want. Just don't fucking fill out the thing yourself, and don't be on top of them and make sure they fill it out the way you want.
And that to me,
if you pay them and they walk or do it themselves, I'm okay with that.
So then you're okay with so then when the right tried to pass laws that you couldn't give a person a bottle of water when they were standing in line, they weren't on top of them, and they didn't want you giving somebody a bottle of water when you're standing in line.
I don't care about that one. If you want to give them water, I'm okay with that one.
Well, it's too late. They already passed.
Like I said, okay.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Now, when I turn, hold on, hang on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you. It's too late. They did it, and you didn't complain when they did it. It's too late to say you don't care about it now.
Was that a federal law, or is that like one?
The right, you didn't complain about the right making a big fuss over it.
Was it?
You didn't complain at all.
It didn't. Nobody brought it up to debate. I didn't even.
It was that shit was all over the news, MAGA. That was all over the news.
Where? What was it? A federal law? Was it a county law?
It was all over the news. I don't know.
Bringing it up, but
I know it was.
Tell me who it was.
Okay, just go online and Google
who it was and tell me who it was.
Well, it was happening in Ohio. It was happening in Atlanta. They were passing laws that said if a person is in line waiting 7-8 hours to vote, you can't give them a bottle of water because it might sway their vote. That was a big story.
So
you didn't hear about it.
Well, maybe we should have countrywide rules.
Okay.
That fix that problem as well as my problem. I'm willing to fix that problem. Give as much water as you want to the people.
It's too late already now. You don't get to change what you tried when your side was in favor. When your side was in favor of doing that shit, I didn't hear nobody on your side. Now all of a sudden, well, you can do it now. It's too late. You guys already made a fuss over it.
So, because of some water law, you want to just let the left, or just not even the left, even the right could cheat by doing the same shit. You just want all the cheating to be okay.
No,
because
you made it sound like it's okay to. You made it sound like it's okay to do stuff as long as you ain't all over them when it come down to voting. People giving people water were not all over them when it came down to voting, and the right made a lot of fuss about that.
Okay. I don't know why you always want to make things black and white.
Let me ask you. Hold on. I want to ask you another. You've been stopping me from asking a question. Hold on. Hang on. I want to ask you a question. Now this is 30 plus years ago for me. And, well, you're not a citizen. You weren't born there, but maybe you may know people that this applied to. When we turn 18 in this country, we all get a letter in the mail from the Selective Service. That way they know where you are and who you are if they need to draft you. They know you're a citizen at 18. Why am I having to prove I'm a citizen in my 50s? When they knew I was a citizen at 18. What changed?
I don't know that they knew or what mechanism they used.
Then why they send the fucking letter out?
If they know, I don't know how they sent it.
You don't know enough.
From you registering
then you don't know enough to be in this conversation. Then they send a Selective Service letter out.
What does that conversation have to do with this conversation?
What it has to do is
I really don't think
I'm
they
answering
have
the
a list
question.
of all the citizens like that.
I'm answering your question. They require at 18 you register with the Selective Service. So if there's ever a draft, they can come get your ass. You have to, by law, you have to answer that. That only goes to U.S. citizens. Anybody that received that, why the hell do they got to prove they're a citizen now to vote? You knew it when you sent out the damn letter.
Well, first of all, you're talking that letter you're talking about. I'm assuming it came from the federal government, but your fucking voting has to do with your local state government. So even if the federal government supposedly had a list, which I don't think they do, your fucking local government doesn't.
The local government, the local governments are not the ones trying to tell you got to prove you're a citizen. That's the federal government. That's Trump doing that.
No, right now the local government handles voter registration for its own state.
That's
what I want to change. I want the federal government to handle it all.
Right. So
you know what?
Hold on. No.
The federal government handle it all because they have to list
if the federal, I'm asking you, if the federal government knows you're a citizen, then why is Trump, as a federal officer, as a federal politician, demanding you prove it again?
Because you have to prove it for the state. Because the state's who's registering you to vote, not the federal government. Trump wants the federal government to handle everything.
That makes no
you're
sense.
Like, oh, we don't want the federal government
That
to do it
don't make
because all Republicans.
the liberals. So the liberal states that are not involved. Hold on.
Who handles the federal election?
The liberal states are not involved in this. Trump is doing this at the federal level. You're trying to say it's state. He's using the federal government to force them to find information out that he already knows. Why don't you just tell those states that these people are citizens? Why are you making them prove something you already know?
You see, you're getting it wrong. You're not proving that you're a citizen to him. You're proving that you're a citizen to your state when you register to vote. Because you register to vote with your state. You don't register to vote with the federal government. You don't go to Trump and register to vote.
So if
you go to your state.
So if it's in the hands of the so if it's in the hands of the states, then you agree that the states, if it's going to be in their hands, they should be able to opt out of this Save America Act, then, right? Because the federal government already know who the citizens are. The state.
See, you're getting it wrong again.
I don't get where you're going.
If the federal government was handling it, you don't. If the federal government was handling everything, which I think they should do because it's a federal election, then you wouldn't have to prove you're a citizen. Because if the federal government has this like universal list,
then why don't the state just send it? Why don't if the federal government knows who all the citizens are? Why don't we just allow the state, when a person come down to vote, to confirm with the federal government that already knows who they are if they're a citizen or not? Why don't we just do that?
Look what's happening in California. California doesn't want to share its voter rolls with
you do know there's 49 other states, right? We keep bringing up California all the time. And they dropped them, as he's pointed out. But all you hear the liberals talking about the conservatives talking about is California. There's a lot of other states out there. But that is my point, is simply put, they know who the citizens are. It makes no damn sense that, taking myself as an example, 30 plus years after they sent the Selective Service letter to me, knowing that I'm a citizen, that I got to somehow present proof and evidence of that again. They knew when I went and got my driver's license in the state that I was a citizen. The idea that the federal government or the state governments don't know if you're a citizen or not is fucking ridiculous. That is the state governments and the federal government, they know if you're a citizen or not. There's no need to make you prove that. They know you're a citizen. And anybody that tells you otherwise is fucking lying. Tap the screen, get the likes on up, if you will, to 90,000 in the comments. I'll go to the box and we'll make it happen with the one and only Doomsday. Doomsday, good evening.
Man, you just have no bottom. You just do not have a bottom.
You know how many girls I don't said that? You know how many girls I don't said that to?
Every time you go to the post office, every time you go to get a airline ticket to travel somewhere, every time you get a job, every time you got to show ID. What's your problem?
We're not talking about ID. We're not talking about ID. We're not talking about ID. We're talking about whether or not. I'm trying to answer you. We're talking about whether or not the government knows if you are a citizen or not. Not ID. Citizen.
What does that mean? What?
My point is, if I hand a cop my driver's license, you're telling me there's or polling person or anybody for that matter that's in the government. You're telling me they can't find out if I'm a citizen?
Yeah, why would they not? Why would you be ashamed of being a citizen? Why do you not want them to know you're a citizen?
That ain't the point. The point I'm making is, why the hell do I got to prove something to them that you're admitting they can easily find out?
Because we have people here that are non-citizens.
Then they would find out. Then they would find out when they hand that driver's license. This driver's license is connected to a non-citizen.
What I'm saying is, I'm confused. You get pulled over. You're upset that they check your citizenship status?
No, I'm not upset. What I am upset about is that if I get pulled over by a cop and the cop says, well, I need to see your birth certificate, then I'm upset. You know all of this information that Trump is demanding you show the posters, they already have it. That's what I'm upset about, because it's going to cost me time and money to get documents to prove something to them that they already know.
Complain about that. All you got to do is show a valid form of identification. It's not even a driver's license. Matter of fact, here in California, it's against the law to even ask somebody. That's wrong.
So you're
You
saying
can't even ask someone here, and I live in California, you cannot even ask someone to identify who they are when they
wait a
go to
minute.
cast
Are
a
you
vote.
saying that in all 50 states, as long as you present a driver's license at the polling place, you're okay?
I didn't say driver's license. I said valid identification.
What is
Some
that?
driver's
What is a
licenses-
valid identity? A driver's license is not valid ID?
Not necessarily, no.
Then what are you? Then give me an example of a valid ID.
Yeah, real ID. That's why we moved to real ID.
So,
Passport.
so a real ID, would that be good enough to get you to vote in all 50 states?
Yes.
Alexa,
Yeah, because you've proven.
would a real
because you've
ID, hold on, would using real ID be good enough to get you to vote in all 50 states?
Check with your local government website for the most up-to-date information on voter registration, deadlines, and eligibility requirements.
That don't say shit. I'm under the impression
we
that there are
agree-
places.
Hold on. Can we agree that you don't want anyone that is not a citizen voting in your elections? Can
Yes.
we agree on that?
We can agree on that.
Okay. How would you prove that that's the case? Unless we identify who's casting that ballot.
Well, easily. The ID that they give you, 'cause I agree everybody should show an ID to vote. And I believe that any ID you give them, whether it's a state ID or a driver's license, they can easily tell if that ID is connected to a U.S. citizen. That's why I'm saying, as long as I give you an ID, nobody should be requested to give birth
Do you think
certificates
that
and
there are
passports.
no illegal? You think there are no people here illegally that have driver's licenses?
Yes.
You think
Yes.
that you can tell someone's immigration status by their driver's license?
Yeah, I still got my Australian driver's license. They know I'm not a citizen when I give it to them. No. Yeah. You can, if you hand your driver's license over, they know fairly quick if they want to whether that driver's license belongs to.
The only thing I'm asking is that if you are voting and you're voting under a name, you need to be that individual. You need to provide proof that you are the individual that is voting in that election. I don't give a shit what kind of election it is, whether it's dog catcher or whatever. I want to know that you are the person that you are representing to be, and only that person, and cast your ballot. Knock yourself out.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with requiring an ID. I'm not fine when you start telling people that they got to come up with passports if they're using their husband's maiden name, all of that. That's when
They only ask them to do. Hold on, they only ask them to do that if they cannot provide the same ID that you and I have. That's the only time. No one. Why in the world would I make someone show me a different ID other than the one that I'm asking you to show me?
Yeah, and see, that's not what I've heard. I've heard that there are states where real ID will not be enough to be able to vote.
What states? Which ones are you talking about?
Give me a second. I'll see
Because
if I can.
I'll show you a state. I'm telling you right now that in California, you cannot even ask someone to show you an identification. That is wrong. You should not be able to vote in this state if you can't prove who you are. And you and I both agree on that. So I can show you a state that goes the total opposite way, and that shit should stop tomorrow. Now, if you'll show me a state that requires more than a driver's license or a real ID, then we can fix it from that end too. I think that's asking too much of people.
Well, that actually is happening based on what I've heard. I'm looking for it as we speak, but that actually has happened.
Well, you let me know when you get that, because, I don't see any problem, and neither do you, with identifying who's voting in this country. 99% or 97% of us all agree that you need to be the person that you say you are when you cast that ballot. That you can't go casting ballots for somebody who you're not even that person.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, you signed up for selective service, okay? No one is asking to serve for you.
That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they don't send selective service forms out to non-citizens. If you sent that to me, you know I'm a citizen.
Agreed.
Right. So that should be the end of that.
The reason for that is, Tim, because no one is offering to serve this country on your behalf. That's why there's plenty of people who would like to take your vote and vote the way they want the vote to go. That's why.
Yeah, but the point I'm making remains the same. You knew who I was. You knew I was a citizen at 18. Why am I having to prove that again in my 50s?
You always have to prove who you are.
You don't always have to prove you're a citizen. Where else?
Of course
Where
you
else
do.
in America do you got to prove you're a citizen? What are you talking about?
It's not proving that you're a citizen. I am just identifying who you are. That's it. Are you the person that you are representing yourself to be? If you don't want to do that, then just excuse yourself from that election. No problem. The only way that you are going to be able to vote in the United States of America is by proving that you are the person and you are eligible to vote. Those are the only two things. That you have eligibility to vote and that you are the individual that you are representing yourself to
To
be.
me, if you are uneligible to vote, they already know that. Once you prove who you are and they run your name in social, they know if you got a felony or something preventing you. You're making a citizen prove a lot of
It's
shit
not
they are.
true.
They
Number
don't
one,
know
it's
that?
not true. No, they don't. And that's part of why the Save
Why wouldn't
America
they know
Act
that?
is so important. I'll tell you why. Because in many of these states, those voter rolls are so convoluted and so corrupted that it makes it impossible to know. And by the way, if you want to hold an election in this country, you should be able to go in and monitor that election. The federal government should be able to monitor that election and at all times from every angle that they want. In other words, if you want to hold an election in your town, it should be done openly in the public, and anyone demanding those records should be able to see those records.
You got a challenger in here. He didn't put a request in. I think it's Mike. Apparently something you're saying he disagrees with. But I've seen several newscasts, and it's hard for me to look it up while I'm talking to you, but I've seen several
Well,
newscasts.
until you can do that, I can't help you with it.
I understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is I have heard newscasts that the real ID,
Yeah, I'm sure.
because apparently,
They're the only one.
hold on, apparently it's also when they show you what acceptable forms of ID is in the Save America Act, they don't list real ID as one of the acceptable forms.
Okay.
So how do you know it's going to be accepted?
Yeah, listen, I have not read all the way through the Save America Act. I am telling you that that's what it is about. If it's about more than that, then I would be, I would ask.
Yeah, but the problem, straight talk, is by the time we find that stuff out, we don't disqualify legitimate voters from voting already. We'll be arguing about this shit after the midterms.
Well, listen, which is worse? Which do you think is worse? Do you think disqualifying voters that should be voting is worse than qualifying people to vote in our elections that are not qualified to vote in our elections?
I absolutely,
Which do you is worse?
I absolutely agree that the latter is not worse, because I don't believe there's a whole lot of it. Hold on, I'm answering your question.
Right.
I don't believe a whole lot of people came to this country illegally.
That's not the question.
You asking me about it. I don't believe. I believe it's worse. I believe it's worse to disqualify legitimate voters from voting. That's what I believe.
All right. Now let me ask that again. Okay. So you think that anyone should be able to vote in our elections until we prove they are not eligible to vote in our elections? That's what you just said.
No, I didn't say nothing like that.
You did. You said that it is worse to disqualify qualified people to vote in the election than it is to open your elections to anyone.
Let me say it so you understand. Let me say it so you understand. I believe until you have actual evidence that a person does not have the legal right to vote, their vote should count based on who they say they are. Until you can prove otherwise.
Just so I get this straight. So if I get 45 million people from Canada to vote in our election, and I take your time in proving that they are, they get to vote, and we got to take all the time in the world now to prove 45 million people were not qualified to vote in our election. That is a better solution for you.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any chance of that happening. Yes, I do.
It's happening right now. I think that there are millions of people that
Can
are
you
voting
show
in
us?
our elections.
Can you show
Where
us?
are all the arrests? Where are all the
Absolutely not
arrests?
qualified.
Where
Can
are
you
the
show us?
where are all of the people that got arrested for doing that? If that's happening, show me all the people
No
you
one
caught.
has been arrested. That's what we're trying to do.
You mean millions of people?
We have people that are voting in our elections that have only spent very few days. They're American citizens.
Show us.
By our laws,
That's crazy.
they are eligible to vote, but they've never spent a day in this country.
Straight talk.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, Mike. Straight talk. I don't believe there's any crime in history where millions of people were able to successfully do it and get away with it in the span of a few years, and nobody got caught doing it. I don't care if it's still in the bag of potato chips. Nobody got caught.
Watch the president's speech tonight.
Nobody got caught.
Yeah, they've been caught. What I'm saying to you is I would suggest that you both watch the president speak tonight, and your opinion might change about what he's saying.
You got a better chance
He's
of
saying
hitting
the
a
same
lotto.
fuckery that you're saying,
Yeah.
Tim. So, Tim, just real quick, because it's bullshit. So, number one, he said he hasn't read the whole act, so he doesn't know what's in it. So, he's supporting something that he hasn't read. That's crazy as shit. And he's trying to tell us that we're wrong. If you could show us proof, any scintilla of proof about what you said.
I said tune in tonight.
No, I'm not talking. No. I'm not asking him. I'm asking you. You're the one talking about it. Tim, big box me real
9 p.m.
quick.
Eastern.
Tim, big box me real quick. See, I'm in California too.
Egg on your face.
Yeah, I know. I'm in California too. I'm willing to do what you won't do. So, Tim, in the state of California, you have to do this. You
What the fuck? Shit, they don't took down both of them motherfuckers, did they not? You know, I think that they don't took down a live access. I can't bring nobody up. Apparently, you know, once this app went from the alleged Chinese, they don't took the sound and everything down. It's pretty clear. Let me go ahead and I guess I'll put it in an appeal, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. How do I even do that? Don't know. I'll have to reset it. But apparently, I'll just tell you this. Once there was because Congress had, you know, earlier this year, I think, or toward last year, they had this deal where TikTok had to be sold from the Chinese, otherwise we were going to lose it. That happened, and what ended up happening is it was purchased by Americans. And a lot of them are tech bros that I'm going to just straight up tell you they have affiliation to President Trump. And since that has happened, you cannot talk about the 2020 election without getting censored and banned. You cannot talk about it, even though it's a hugely hot topic. It's all over the media. It's all over everything. You can't discuss it. I absolutely believe that is the Trump side of the aisle has something to do with that, because the Trump side of the aisle has something to do with the people that now own TikTok. You cannot discuss it without getting banned and blocked on TikTok. It's a hot topic. It's going to be discussed tonight on the news. Trump is going to address the entire nation, and you can't talk about this on that app without getting dropped. Because most people talking about it on the app is pointing out that Trump lied about that shit. So I really believe that Trump has something, you know, the Trump side of the aisle has something to do with that. Don't end your life. Tell people to go to YouTube, Clap, or Rumble. Yeah, it's not happening on the other apps. That is true. Handsome conservative. That is true. Biden was a pawn for Trump. What does that say in the comments? Biden was a pawn for Trump to blame his shit, deal with the Taliban. His presidency wasn't even real, and we all belong to the. I don't know, Dan. You're going crazy with all of that. We all belong to Islamic terrorists, and so I don't know what you're talking about. So the caller is basically that if I get a fraudulent ID that shows my picture and my name, I can vote because now I no longer have to prove I'm a citizen. Well, here's the point. I adamantly do not believe there's a whole bunch of non-citizens voting in our elections. Like I told the caller, you're going to tell me millions of people are voting illegally and you can't show any demonstration of any of them? They're all getting away with this. All over the country, people are voting illegally and they're all successfully getting away with it. There is no crime ever that millions of people have gotten away with in the span of a few years or so, and no one got caught. That's a lie, is the point I'm making. And not only do I believe it's a lie from the standpoint of you can't show any evidence of people getting caught, I don't buy into the notion that somebody would do everything they need to do to get over to this country and make money under the table and shit and risk all of that to cast a vote. I just, when I lived overseas, I was not interested in getting involved in their elections. There's no way in hell I buy that. And the fact that you can't prove that it's happening at all is probably the best example of what makes the case for me. If that many people are voting illegally, it should not be that hard to show some evidence that you caught some people doing it. So I absolutely just, and I see in the comments, Ansel Conservative, he says you may want to think about supporting other platforms. TikTok is fucking with your show. Yeah, we are on all the other platforms simultaneously right now. So if you want to come up, you still can come up on Clapper, Substack, Instagram, and there's 4 of them. You can come up live on TikTok, Substack, Clapper, and Instagram. So it is what it is. But yeah, TikTok is censoring based on the election. Like I said, to me, you'd have me sold if there was some actual evidence of it. Just claiming that people are cheating and producing no evidence is where you lose me. And that's what I've been seeing from Trump. If they don't check ID, how would they get caught? If they don't check ID, you still are going to be able to show somebody came and voted twice. Somebody, I mean, what are we saying? Because California is the only place I know that's really not checking ID. It's the only place that's really not checking ID. Trump is claiming they're cheating all over the country. Nobody would snitch. I mean, let's say California is letting millions of people vote without IDs. When you think about the fact that the federal government will give you money for Crime Stoppers and shit like that, or you just got conservatives that don't want people voting without ID. Nobody snitched on nobody? Nobody at all? Some of this, it just doesn't make sense to me. Dincal, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, so are you watching the president speak tonight?
No.
Why not?
I never do, because I know what he's going to say.
What are you expecting to hear from him?
A bunch of liars, a bunch of greatest hit.
Well, yeah, give me some of the examples of some of these greatest hits you're talking about.
America's the hottest country in the world. He got the war in Iran under control. They're almost done. We're controlling the Straits.
Out of that terrifying flyover for many dramatic.
Yeah, you're sounding like you know Trump.
The election was stolen. I have proof now. The people in Georgia are illegitimate. The senators in Georgia are illegitimate because of the proof we found in Fulton County. But everybody else on the ballot that was Republican that won, they're good.
Yeah, you sound like you know Trump. In the comments, Forever CT says, that's why I will not go back to TikTok. After those games they played that night, it was supposed to go down. Haven't been back. I support you on YouTube only. I can't do them anymore. It's gotten bad. Yeah, I mean, that does explain it. Like I said, I think it's Trump related, didn't count. Do you? I mean, because you know it was supposed to be sold from the Chinese, and that ended up happening. And that happened under Trump's watch, and Trump is in with the tech bros that allegedly own TikTok now. And from what I can see, the censorship is worse.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole point. I mean, they even told us. We even got Netanyahu on tape saying that, you know, that in order for them to control the narrative in this country, they got to control TikTok. Hence, the sale to Larry Ellison, who is a Zionist, you know what I'm saying, one of those people. And now his son is the one who's buying up Paramount and Netflix and CNN, which they said openly that they were going to use it to I forgot what did Trump tell Jay Packer the other day to make you guys more normal.
And real quick, hold on a second, Dean Cal. Real quick in the comments, Hanson Conservative, you said, what time does Trump speak tonight? 9 p.m. Eastern. So I'm in Central, so that'll be 8 o'clock my time. So a little bit less than 2 hours. He'll be addressing the nation. It'll be on probably all of the channels. So ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN, MSN, MS Now, News Nation. It'll probably be on all of those networks. So in a little bit less than 2 hours. So there you go. But
I just want to do a real quick thought experiment for some of the MAGA people.
Go ahead.
From the beginning, Trump said that people were cheating in elections, right? The first time when he first ran, he said people were going to cheat, right?
Yep.
He won, right? He won after Obama.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that election was fair because he won, right?
That's how he does it. The only ones that are not fair are the ones he lose.
And then the next election that happened in 2020, he said people cheated when he lost, right? Now remember, he was the president in 2020. So
Yep.
he said his people cheated. I mean, the people who were running the country, they didn't see no cheating the first time when he won, but when he lost, they said he said it was cheating. Then in 2024, when Biden was in office,
he won again.
He won.
Listen. Yeah, I've said the same thing. It doesn't make sense how the only election you claiming that was stolen from you was when you were controlling the country. I mean, yeah, they believe that shit though, man. They actually believe that stuff. Like if the Democrats were gonna steal it, they would absolutely do it when they're in charge of the country. Like they believe that stuff. I don't get it.
Like they think the Dems are smart enough to gather up millions of people around the world who can't vote, bring them here somehow, let them vote, and then all go back home without nobody knowing. What did he say? Did he say they was giving the homeless people $2 or something?
That's what.
Can you imagine? It would take millions, right, to change the election. Can you imagine?
That's what MAGA Reacts brings up is that
what do they call it? Where's the place in California where all of the homeless people live? Something Row?
I don't even know. What do you mean?
It's a place where a lot of the homeless people live. Skid Row.
Skid Row. Well, okay.
Imagine on voting day, Skid Row is just empty. Motherfuckers all standing in line to vote.
And that's another thing. If people were getting paid, this is the same shit when they say Democrats pay protesters. Like, you would easily be able to pay people to admit they received a check or something to protest. It's just always allegations with no evidence or proof to go along with it. And nobody's voting. When you think about the punishment and the penalty that you can get for illegally voting, the risk versus reward is not even in the same universe. Your reward is you get to cast one vote. Your risk is you could do potentially 5 years in prison. Ain't nobody doing that shit.
Right. Who in the world who organized the shit to say, look, I need you to go out there and find 100,000 people and give them money to go vote?
Yeah, I'm just amazed at how easy Trump has been able to get people to believe that shit is happening without having to prove anything to them at all. I mean, just people really buy into the notion that there's a lot of fraud and it's all Democrats. Like, okay, if there is a way to cheat, no Republican is dishonest enough to pick that up. It's just like MAGA Reacts is saying, well, the Democrat cities are bigger than the Republicans, so you shouldn't really waste time checking the Republican cities.
And who's to say that Trump, in all his glory, if he knew of a way to cheat, he would be cheating?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, to me, it's the dumbest argument, but I got to give a shout out to Trump. It works on MAGA. They actually believe this stuff. So, I mean, they're fighting hard for the Save America Act because they do believe that all these illegals are going up and voting and shit like that. And they're able to do it without getting caught.
Right. All of these Republican states that have had majority mail-in ballots for decades, they don't Nobody's saying nothing about them states. They've had, but they said we don't want mail-in ballots, but they've been doing it themselves for decades. The president himself uses mail-in ballots, but they said we want to get rid of the possibility of cheating. Like, you can't get rid of the possibility because cheaters gonna figure out a way around whatever you do. So to say, I'm gonna do something that we can't prove is actually being done to prevent it from happening in the future is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's the point I made. Is that you're no matter what you do, there's always gonna be a way to negotiate it. Because if you require an ID and you require that I have to go down to a polling place, then the security is only as good as the person checking my ID. The old lady that's looking at my ID to make sure it's genuine, if I give a fake ID and her eyes are not savvy enough to tell the difference between a real and fake ID, then that ain't a good secure method. So to me, by far, if you wanted to have free and fair elections, and you wanted to reduce the amount of fraud, you would do what we do for everything in terms of automation. You would use computers. You would use fingerprint scanners. You would use facial recognition. You got actual murderers where they've been able to take the phone off the person and they can't get access to that phone because it's locked that tight. They got to send it to Quantico because of facial recognition or the fingerprint scanner. They cannot, or the password, they cannot get around that. So to me, if you want to make the election fair and secure, you would use computers over everything. And fingerprint scanner, facial recognition, I don't think there's anything going to be more secure than that.
Right, but see, the problem with the argument is that they keep talking about this mail-in or people using fake IDs. The problem with that is once you submit your vote,
it's done.
And the computer knows whether you are registered or not. You can't just give out a whole bunch of fake IDs and let people vote because their names are not in the registry.
Yeah.
So how does that equate to stealing if those folks get thrown out? If there's somebody that's not on the registered roll, you can't. I don't even understand that.
You know, to me, it's like we're sitting there trying to figure out what weapons can we have to prevent somebody from attacking us, and no matter what weapon we come up with, they can shoot that down. There's nothing ever going to reach the pinnacle where it cannot absolutely be stopped. I mean, because I got somebody in the comments right now saying even if you use facial recognition and shit like that, people will find a way to cheat. We're chasing something that's not happening and trying to go to this uptight level of security when none of this stuff is really even happening.
Show me where it's happening, and then we can have a conversation about what to do to combat it. Don't present a hypothetical and say we got to do all we can to prevent a hypothetical, even though it's going to hurt people realistically in the present.
To me, it almost sounds like you live in a good neighborhood and you're arguing about whether or not you should build your walls to your house 2 feet thick because somebody might break in. You're in a decent, ain't nobody doing this stuff. And you're constantly trying to come up to this level of election security that is beyond what is necessary based on a boogie monster that Trump has created.
And MAGA reacts on here come out. So I guess we should just go ahead and give up and let them cheat. Dude, you gotta prove that somebody's cheating before we have an aggressive step towards preventing it. You can't just keep saying people are cheating with no fucking proof and then say, well, you guys just aren't doing enough.
Yeah, because he's saying if it's not happening, then let us just do it. No, if it's happening, why don't we let you just prove what you're saying? I mean, what is so hard about proving the claims you're making? I mean, okay, prove it. You'll be amazed at how many of us you would get on your side if you're actually able to show evidence of this shit.
I could prove to him and a whole bunch of MAGA that the court systems are unfair to black and brown people.
And they wouldn't buy that. Right.
With actual statistics. They don't want to do shit about it.
Yeah, I can show you a lot more cases of cops being corrupt than I can people illegally voting, and you're on the side of the cops. So, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
The president just released the goddamn woman who was caught on videotape violating campaign elections by letting people have access to voting machines. We've seen it with our own eyes. He let her go.
I don't know. Look.
They looked at the machines. They didn't find shit. They broke the fucking law, and the president of the United States let her go. And he talking about how we need to address shit that we can't prove.
Yeah, they have their mind made up, didn't Cal? A lot of this stuff is what Trump says. I'm going to believe Trump until proven otherwise, and that's kind of what this is. There's a lot of things Trump has said and done. The same thing with the cats and dogs thing. I'm going to believe him until proven otherwise. So he does have a lot of power and a lot of sway with the right. And here we are. I do got to move it on, but I'm with you. It sounds crazy. I don't think we ever in the history of time will see any evidence to prove Trump's claims. We're just going to be basing legislation and passing laws on stuff that he never showed to be valid. And sounds like MAGA Act is totally okay with that.
Right. I just wanted to say, I wanted to give your other guest, John, I wanted to give him a little grace because he has moved to the position where he can admit the failures of Trump, which is a great leap for a lot of MAGA. A lot of MAGA would be telling you right now, this is the golden age right now. This is the greatest economy in the world.
That's crazy.
Even though they're in the economy themselves, at least John has gotten to the point where he can say it out loud, like, this shit is fucked up.
Yeah, he did.
Now, he might not be to the point where he can turn his back on Trump because that's the cult of personality. Like, but he has moved to a position where he can at least, and it might take him to maybe lose his house or his farm or his car gets repossessed where he'll be like, nah, this is really some bullshit and I can't support it. But at least he's moving and I got to give him grace for that. And I'm not going to say it's a waste of time to talk to him because he even said at the end, whether he meant it or not, he would like to hear more from Mike. Explain to him what's in the SAVE Act because he's at least willing to listen.
He was a good call. Yeah, he was a good call, and he's certainly welcome back anytime. Cal, and so are you. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. All right. Somebody in the comments, Pink Pineapple says, damn Cal. What are you saying damn Cal for? Tap the screen. I don't know if it really matters at this point. Tim, watch his speech with the captions on and tell me he's all there. You talking about Trump tonight? Now, some folks in the comments are saying some networks have stated they're not going to cover President Trump's speech. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Well, I understand if it's MS Now or CNN, I get it for them to. But, well, look, I'll just say it like this. Trump is so insulting to the media. I wouldn't fault any network that he routinely insults for not covering him. Because that's what he's accusing them of anyway. When the times I went to Trump rallies, and I haven't been to a Trump rally now in at least a couple of years or more. He was saying then that they turn the light off and they don't cover me and all. They don't cover him because they absolutely were covering him. So if he's going to lie and say you don't smile enough or you're always saying the negative shit about him, then don't cover him. I mean, so yeah, if CNN doesn't cover Trump tonight, or if MS Now probably will not cover Trump tonight. That would be certainly one of the networks that would not cover him. But yeah, if you're going to bash the network all the time, make no mistake about it, Fox News didn't cover Biden all the time. There were plenty of times Biden was on television giving a speech, just like when Obama opened up his presidential library. They didn't show that on Fox. That was covered on MS Now and CNN. They had, all the musicians there, all the speeches from Bush and all of them. They didn't cover that on Fox News. They completely skipped over that. So, if the left-wing networks or networks that lean left don't cover Trump, so be it. But I know for a fact Fox News did not cover a lot of Biden speeches when he was president. So there you go. Trump needs a rally right now. That's what you're trying to get, says Billy Wap. You're not going to get a rally by talking to the people because as Cal and some of my guests have pointed out, you kind of know what Trump is going to say. In fact, before I went live, I kind of wrote some notes down. Save America Act and voter fraud is going to be mentioned, as that's been what we've been talking about for the last hour. But he's also going to mention communism is on the rise and socialism. You really know what he's going to say. He's going to talk about the Iran war. And as Denkow rightfully pointed out, he's going to make some kind of promise that we're only a few weeks away or days away from gas prices coming down and Iran begging for a ceasefire or something like that. I don't know if he's going to continue saying Cuba and Greenland are next. He's going to talk about the economy and boast on how great the tariffs have done, the jobs and manufacturing is bringing back. And last but not least, I wrote in my notes that you can be guaranteed there will be an attack on both Biden and Obama. That's it. That's pretty much sums up what you're going to hear from Trump. Now, it may take him 2 hours to cover it all, but that's what's going to happen. That's what he's going to discuss, is the stuff that I just wrote down off the top of the dome and on these notes. Tim asked Alexa, how prevalent is voter fraud? Alexa, how prevalent is voter fraud in America?
Well, voter fraud is actually pretty rare in the US. Studies show it's a tiny fraction of total votes cast, like 0.0000003 cases per vote between 2000 to 2012. Most research finds that while people worry about it, the actual proven cases are extremely limited and don't affect election outcomes.
I believe you, Alexa.
Thanks for trusting the data. It's nice when facts speak for themselves.
That just sounds sexy, don't it? Yeah, and I listen, Alexa, stop. I actually agree with that. And the reason I'm giving for why I agree with it is because the people that are alleged all kinds of election fraud are not able to produce any cases. So that matches that 0.0000003%. I don't think I've talked to hardly anybody that can really produce any solid examples. MAGA Reacts is talking about they're paying homeless people, but there's no guarantee that any of that went the way they're saying. I mean, so I actually believe it's that low. I do believe it's that low. I mean, if you're going to allege fraud is taking place all over the country, then prove it's happening all over the country. MAGA Reacts, you got cut out. Good evening.
Yeah, I told you it was going to happen. And by the way, they've been cutting me off for talking about elections since way before those Trump guys bought it.
Yeah, they've been doing me the same way, but it got much, much worse after the Trump guys bought it. I mean, I've been talking about election fraud. Yeah, not for me, it ain't been the same. I didn't ever lose. I never lost the ability to have live guests before that happened. I would get suspended for a day or something, but to lose, like right now, I'm live on TikTok, but I can't take live guests. That never happened before he did that.
Bro, I would always get flagged every time I brought it up.
Now, different between getting flagged and not being able to bring up live guests, though. That's a difference.
Well, the other thing is we have a lot more evidence now that I'm brought up that we didn't have before.
I ain't seen that evidence.
Anyway, real quick, Google if the U.S. government has a master list of all U.S. citizens. Because it took me 2 seconds to Google it. They don't, and part of the SAVE Act is Trump is trying to create one. So they have a master list of all the.
Well, if they're sending out selective service forms, MAGA Reacts, them people they know are U.S. citizens, though.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Okay.
One probably has nothing to do with the other. Because even if they have different lists of U.S. citizens or males that could be drafted, I doubt they're sharing it with each other.
No.
And I mean, all you gotta do is take 2 seconds to Google it. There is no master list, and if there is one, the federal government might have it, but definitely the state government doesn't have it.
Well, the state governments is not in on this. This is something the federal government wants to do. The state governments are not promoting the Save America Act. It's the federal government.
But the state government is the one that does all the elections.
Right, and they're fine. Yeah, but the state governments are fine doing The state governments are fine doing what they're doing. It's the federal government trying to force the state governments to do something. And by the way, elections are supposed to be maintained by the states. The federal government shouldn't be trying to force them to do shit anyway.
Well, that's the problem. They're being maintained by the states, and some states made laws where they could cheat, like California and their homeless voting problem.
There's no such thing as an election you can run, MAGA, that you can't cheat. No matter what you do, people can cheat.
Depends how you make the rules.
Give me a rule. Give me a way they can do the elections where nobody could ever cheat.
I mean, there's never a situation where no one could ever.
That's what I said.
Limiting, first of all, we got to get rid of voter harvesting. Being able to harvest mail-in votes is just straight up cheating. Maybe allow like a limit of 5 or 10, but in California you could do 500. And then what else? And then require ID. And then find a good way to prove that these people are citizens. If you don't like the way Trump wants to do it, find another way to prove that only citizens are voting.
And I see in the comments, Dencal makes an interesting point. He says, we literally live in a surveillance state. The government has a list of everyone, whether they admit it or not. I agree with that. I actually agree with that because your social security number, they know from your social security card whether or not you're a U.S. citizen. They already know who the citizens are. They can.
A lot of non-U.S. citizens have social securities.
Right, and they know if they run those numbers if that belongs to a citizen or not. By the way, you cannot legally get a social security card if you're not a citizen.
No, everybody gets social security. You just have to register. Even people applying for asylum, they get a social security number. That's just a number everybody gets. You're
saying non-citizens. You're saying non-citizens can get a social security card?
Yeah, 100%.
I wasn't aware of that.
Another easy Google. Everybody gets a social security. Even if you're like here illegally, you could apply for one. It's just a number, just so we could ID you.
Alexa,
you get a number.
Can a non-U.S. citizen get a social security card?
Non-U.S. Citizens can get a social security card only if they're lawfully authorized to work in the United States. If you have DHS work permission, permanent residency, or are adjusting status, you can apply and receive a card. Those without work authorization aren't eligible for an SSN, though they may obtain an ITIN for tax purposes.
Okay, so you can get one if you're here legally. So that erases the illegal immigrants part. So
you heard her. If you're applying for asylum, which is one of the options, you can still get
exactly
one,
right. You need legal work authorization from DHS to get an SSN. So undocumented immigrants can't get one even if they pay taxes.
There you go.
No, ask her if you're applying for
asylum. That's how it works.
The case where I know it's possible.
What was your statement?
If you're applying for asylum, you get a social security number.
Alexa, can you get a social security number if you are applying for asylum?
You can get an SSN as an asylum seeker, but not automatically. After May 2025, you must apply in person at a Social Security office. If you've been granted asylum, bring your I-94 with a refugee stamp and your approval notice. If your case is pending, you need an approved.
Alexa, stop. But that's kind of what she was saying earlier. If you get worker rights, if you've passed that, you can't just get it on its face. Like I just showed up to the border, because what they were doing under the Biden administration, they were letting in asylum seekers, and then they would give them a court case, and then they was not showing back up. But they were not getting social security numbers from that point. You got to go to court and then win your case, and then you get a social security number.
No, you should have just said it. You can have it while it's pending. It's just there's certain requirements.
I didn't hear that.
Possible. I mean, it's probably a select few, and it's not even worth us arguing about it.
No, and I would also add, you guys are trying to make it sound like these people want to vote. These people, they barely can speak the fucking language. I don't believe these folks are trying to get involved in even under Biden. They certainly ain't doing it under Trump with all of the ICE agents and shit beating them up and killing them. They weren't even doing it under Trump, though. I mean, under Biden or Obama. I don't believe somebody gonna come to this country and be focused on elections. I just don't see that, which is why you guys can't show any evidence of it.
Honestly, I bring up, I bring up homeless way more than illegals. And there's a lot of legal immigrants that are not supposed to vote in federal elections that maybe they vote. I really don't care about that point. I really care more about the homeless and the voter harvesting, where you have people that have no interest in voting and you pay them to get their vote. That's what I worry about more.
And ain't none of them got caught? Where are all of the if you're paying a bunch of people to vote, you can't flip a homeless person and point out that person and pay. Why ain't they getting caught?
We have examples in California where they got caught. It's just the only time they did it massively where someone could get caught was 2020, but it was only that one election. In California, they do it all the time. In other states, I think Georgia in 2020, there was a lot of people registered at homeless shelters that helped win that election, and seeing that that fucking Biden won by 12,000 votes, I see it very easily possible that 12,000 votes affected the election.
Yeah. Yeah. My point is, this shit is so far down in the weeds. I can't support the Save America Act. Look, I'm not going to pretend like our elections are 100% free and fair, and I don't think the Save America Act will make it 100% free and fair either. But I agree with what the app thing just said. 0.00. Look, you could the stuff you're talking about. When you factor in there's over 400 million people in this country, about 150 plus million vote, you could actually be paying a few homeless people to vote like you're talking about. And it could be still that 0.00003%. It ain't happening that much to be passing a law that's going to affect tens of millions of people. This is a non-issue.
No, I think it is. It's just they don't look into it. They don't investigate it. And if you don't investigate it, how are you ever going to catch it and prove that's happening?
Then if you're not looking into it,
I think it's worth it just to make people feel better.
If you're not if you're not looking into if you're not looking into it and you're not investigating, then how do you know what's going on?
Because we can see it. We can see the smoke. We just don't.
You ain't seeing no smoke.
No firefighters are going out to investigate the smoke.
To me, yeah. The biggest amount of, you know what the smoke you're seeing is? You're seeing smoke from Trump trying to burn our elections down. That's where the smoke is coming from. There is far more evidence of voter fraud coming from Trump than all of the shit you're talking about combined. He is trying to cheat in the elections far more than anything else you're talking about. That's where you're seeing the smoke.
Once brought up Trump. I've always brought up homeless. I've always brought up the numbers, how close it is. And it only affects close elections. It doesn't affect every election. That's the other thing you brought up is like, why didn't he complain in 2016 and 2024? Because those weren't close elections. It only affects very close elections because there's only so much you could cheat.
So what? So Biden stole the election. He got away with it too because Trump says Biden stole the election.
Yeah, because it was. I don't know who exactly did it for him. I don't think he did it himself. Like right now in California, the LA mayor one, that lady was surprised that she went from third to second. I think someone else did it, and she just happened to benefit from it.
Well, shit. Chris Christie and all them said Trump was surprised when he won in 2016. Sometimes that happens.
But again, that was it wasn't a close election. And that's
I don't know.
Because it was close.
I don't know what it being close has to do with it, but I'm just going to simply say that you're making, the Trump administration is making way too many allegations without proof. Dead people voted. The Dominion voting machine switch votes. Ballot harvesting is one you meant. All of these different ways to cheat. You ain't catching nobody doing none of this stuff.
I mean, because they're not fucking trying to. I mean, I wouldn't try myself. I would just close the hole. And honestly, like, let's just do it so the people. I'm not going to make it harder for people, Americans, to vote, have to go out and pay for passports, pay for birth certificates, and cost money out of their pocket based on something you cannot prove is happening. I'm not going. I mean, you would think about how many millions of dollars you would cost the American citizens. Everybody paying $5 here or there to get shit mailed to them. They got to go and find their marriage certificate. Think about the millions of dollars you would cost Americans for something you can't prove is happening at all. I'm not going to favor that. I'm okay with the Democrats helping you pay for that shit.
I'm not okay at all.
And the Republicans, the RNC and the DMC have plenty of money to help you deal with those problems. And it's going to have a lot of people believe in our elections more.
How about this? How about this? How about this? Why not just hand out the IDs for free? Period. When people go to get their... Okay, wait, I don't hear that coming from your side, though. Everything they're suggesting is going to cost the voter money.
Bro, I think if the Democrats were like, hey, let's have a bill where we help people register to vote by paying for their IDs, no one will object to that. Even we should add it to the Save America Act. I agree with you there.
Well,
the Save America Act.
Well, my point is simple. It's too fucking close to the election to do this. I mean, if you do it now with only 3 months left, it's gonna be stuff lost in the mail. People gotta in some case, like buying a passport is That ain't cheap, first of all. Second of all, if you need it quick, they charge you more money. Even if you just want to get your own birth certificate or you want to get your own marriage license, if you go online and try to get that, they charge you a few percent points because you're using a credit or debit card. This stuff is costing people money.
Okay, I'm okay with the federal government adding a fucking money to cover that. And I'm also okay with, shit, what was I gonna say?
What if they don't do that, though? What if the federal government doesn't cover it?
I think to get it passed, they'll approve that shit in a heartbeat, because I don't think anyone...
Why don't he say it? But what if he is promoting the Save America Act and he's never promising to do that? Should people... would you not understand people not supporting it? Because he's not talking about the federal government financially covering this stuff.
But you know the Democrats could just stand up and be like, hey, we'll let you pass this if you pay for it.
And he could just...
I also agree with making it not enact until the next election, until 2028.
Right.
I'm okay with skipping this midterm and have it kick in 2028. And Trump, it wouldn't even affect Trump because it'd be gone. It'd be for the next people. I want to pass this.
You and I would meet in the middle on that. I think we could agree on that. If they pay for Americans, the ID that you need to show to prove you're an American citizen, if the federal government agrees to pay for that and they push this out to 2028, I'm down with you. I would agree with all of that. I would be totally okay. Now, take all of that I hate trans shit out of the Save America Act. That doesn't belong in the voting bill. But
yeah, I don't care about that. Take that shit out.
Yeah, other than that, 2028 gives it time to tweak out to correct the bells and whistles in it. And then you make sure every U.S. citizen can get the ID they need to vote for free. I agree with that. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, the problem is these Democrats are never going to agree to it because...
and the Republicans are never going to offer it.
Well, no, the Democrats could go up and offer it.
And the Republicans could offer it too. Your side, it's your bill. You could offer it.
Until they like them. It's a bipartisan thing. They could offer it.
It ain't bipartisan.
At least the Democrats could say, "Hey, we tried."
It ain't bipartisan. It is not bipartisan.
If the Democrats come up and offer it, they could at least say we tried to get this passed. But the way they're fucking sounding right now, it seems like all they want to do is cheat.
Okay. Well, I see more cheating from your president. I got to move it on, MAGA Reacts, though. As always, appreciate you coming through.
It's harder for him to cheat. I wish he was. I could agree with you.
Yeah, I wish he would show proof and I could agree with you. I got to go.
I don't use him for proof.
I do. I got to go. Go ahead and drop. Handsome Conservative, good evening.
Hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Hey, listen, quick question. Is your guest not coming up on TikTok?
Yeah, they blocked it. They blocked for a couple of days. I'm not going to be able to take guests on that profile. So tomorrow we'll be on the other profile.
All right. Let me test that real fast just to make sure. I saw Gangster Grandma outside of the Quickie Mart kissing a white man. If you disagree with me, send a Galaxy and come up.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. That ain't gonna happen.
All right. I apologize.
Funny though, you fucking with Gangster Grandma. Funny as hell, but that ain't gonna happen. Republicans need voter suppression to win their part. Yeah, that. I mean, look, in the midterms, it is traditional for the incumbent to lose, and that's absolutely what I think is happening. Is that you didn't vote for Trump this last go round, but I do think your side of the aisle, Handsome Conservative, is trying to cheat.
All right, now how are we trying to cheat?
Save America.
I don't see it.
I actually think what he's doing via the Save America Act is trying to do it.
You think the Save America Act is trying to cheat?
Yeah.
I gotta ask, man. How is that? Explain that one to me. That's over my head.
Well, first of all, you already know that with the amount of time left, which is why I applaud MAGA Reacts for at least saying he would be okay with pushing this back to 2028. There's not enough time to get those documents. There's not enough time for millions of people. You're going to have states saying that normally we get 100 or 200 requests for birth certificates per week. Once this act passed, we got 15,000 requests. We don't have the manpower to send all this stuff. I mean, we only got 3 months left, so people are going to passports, all of this stuff. There's going to be a huge surge of people requesting all these documents at once. Ain't nobody been hired to meet this heavy demand. You don't hear Trump talking about hiring anybody. So when you ask me, how do I think he's trying to cheat? I think he's trying to just create election chaos.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Has the Single America Act actually passed yet? Or
no, because even Republicans are not buying into it. Even a lot of Republicans are not.
So then if it hasn't passed, I'm failing to see. I mean, he's obviously not going to get it passed before the midterms.
Well, he's still trying. As long as he's still trying, we got to address it. I agree with you. It's probably not going to pass, but that's what we're going to discuss tonight. Right. That's what he's still trying to get it passed.
Yeah, listen, I wanted to ask you real fast, because I'm very interested in watching it. What time is he supposed to come on?
It's 9 p.m. Central. So I don't know what time zone, Eastern rather, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know what time zone you're in, but 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's a little bit over an hour and 8 minutes.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I got like 7:51 right now.
Okay, same.
So,
all
right.
You're in Central, so yeah, a little bit over an hour. So, yeah, and my guess that's what people widely expect him to do is make a case for why we need that act passed. And he said he got something really big to tell us or something like that. So my guess is it's going to be some kind of claim.
See, that right there, what you just said, he's got something really big to tell us. Man, I hope so, because he really needs to pull something out of his ass, like right now, to swing the votes in his direction. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but here's the problem. As a conservative, here's the problem, though. Even if he tells us something, are you going to just believe it? With him saying the Strait of Hormuz is open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. Their navy's at the bottom of the ocean. They're obliterated. We won. Now we're back on. I mean, you're going to do more than just tell us something. You're going to just show people something.
No, I wouldn't believe him, but it's because I just watched, oh shit, man. I just watched somebody, it was on YouTube, they were talking about the Strait, and they were showing that we were bombing Iran, and Iran was bombing other countries. So I'm kind of up to speed on that right now, but yeah, I went out and actually paid for cable this month just so I could see, because I've been hearing about.
You could have got that shit on. You could have got that on YouTube, man. You didn't have to buy cable. I mean, there's gonna be plenty. I mean, Trump.
I got YouTube TV for the month, so so I could see it.
Fair enough. Well, any just your regular YouTube.com. You could probably type, Google Trump speech, and you probably would get some kind of video link that would show you that. It's going to be broadcast on enough stuff that you don't have to pay any money to see it.
I got to disagree with you on something you said earlier. You said MSN and CNN probably wouldn't show Trump's speech. I think that would be a very big mistake, because CNN right now is at the bottom. They're third place of all the news channels. And MSN is right above them. So I mean, I think that they need.
But think about their audience, conservative. I mean, especially MS Now. MS Now has mostly a liberal audience. Even if their poll numbers are in the tank, you're not going to better your poll numbers as an MSNBC producer by putting Trump on television. The viewers of MS Now are going to just turn that shit off anyway.
Go ahead. Well. I'm coming at it from this point of view. Trump's always saying that they don't show his speeches and they turn off and they turn away when he's talking. So if they actually do what he says they do, then that's really going to put them in the shitter.
No, it's not.
I mean,
No,
you
it's
don't
not.
want to. Oh, okay, all right.
And I'll
all
tell
right,
you
my
why.
bad.
I'll tell you why.
Just
Because
my opinion.
yeah, I'll tell you why. Trump has been claiming that MSNBC and CNN don't show him since he came down the Golden Escalator, and they have been showing him. In fact, Mike Huckabee, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, once stated that I could win the presidency if I was getting as much news coverage as Trump does. I mean, they were covering him big time, and he was still bashing them. So if MS Now and CNN covers Trump, Trump is making somewhat political capital off of attacking people. So there's nothing that MSNBC or CNN is going to do to make him stop doing that. It's beneficial to him. So even if they come around, I mean, like when Lindsey Graham passed away, he called in to CNN. They took his phone call. Jake Tapper was the one that talked to him, and Jake Tapper said, "You can call here anytime." He went right back to attacking the network again.
Well, that's definitely his stick.
Yeah.
I don't see how making him look like he's telling the truth by doing what he says they already do is going to help him.
Well, the people,
it's weird.
the people that know Trump, the people that know Trump is lying about them not covering it. They already know it. Trump supporters are not going to watch CNN or MS Now regardless. So if Trump tells them CNN and MS Now don't cover me, they're going to believe it because they're never going to watch those networks anyway. So he's telling lies to people that are never going to look into it.
Where are you going to watch it at? I mean, do you know what channel you're going to watch it at that's going to show it?
I am a News Nation fan because I like Cuomo and O'Reilly and Geraldo come on there. I'll probably watch it on News Nation.
All right.
Yeah,
all right, that's cool.
I'll probably watch it on News
All
Nation.
right, and that's on YouTube, right?
No, I don't. It may be you got YouTube streaming the channel network, like the cable network.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. It might be on YouTube. I don't know because I'm watching it on Fubo, so I don't know. I'd have to look, but I would assume.
Oh, well, you're watching it on Fubo?
Yeah, but YouTube has a lot of channels on it. If you got the pay, the paid subscription or whatever, so it's probably on there.
Yeah,
but it don't matter which network. It don't matter which network you watch it on. You're gonna still get what he's saying.
Yeah. I'll find out. Listen, what was the topic today? Because I was in and out.
It's exactly this speech we're having tonight, which is what do you expect him to say versus what do you want to hear him say tonight? But we're talking about this speech.
Well, I tell you, I really want him to say something. His last couple of speeches have disappointed me. I've got to be honest. If it's just more about the Iran war, man, I get enough of that every day. I get like 4 or 5 videos on that a day, you know? I mean, like, something for the American people. I can't come up with anything, but something for the American people, you know? A helping hand or something.
I don't think you're going to get that beyond promises. You know, we bringing jobs back. We're going to bring back this many manufacturing jobs. It'll be a bunch of rosy things. I mean, Trump is good at telling you all kinds of awesome stuff is going to happen. The problem is it doesn't materialize. So I expect him to tell you all kinds of great shit is about to take place. But I could probably talk to you in 6 months about how much of it didn't come true.
I would love it if he showed that some of these manufacturing jobs have actually come back. That would be great.
You know what he could do?
Awesome.
You know what he could do? He could go on television and say, here is a signed stimulus check. Yes, it got my signature on it. This check is for $2,500. All of you are going to be receiving one of these within the next month. If he done that, you know, we made a ton of money off the tariffs since you've been bragging about that. We saved a ton of money with USAID since you've been bragging about that. And we're going to make sure we think about Americans first. We're going to make sure all of you receive this. If he done something like that, then yeah, then that would be some good news.
I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican, and I'm also not going to turn down the check that he sends. So, I mean, you know, I'm with you on that. Hell yeah, I could use some free money.
Right. I mean,
everybody else in Washington is enriching themselves on both sides.
Not to mention the Iran war is costing us money, so it would be nice to get some of it back.
Yeah. I heard a video today on the Iran war. They said they were getting ready to do, how did they put it, strategic. It's going to be a strategic war. They're going to hit certain targets to prevent them from being able to take out the oil ships or shit like that.
This shit is going to be a never-ending war. I got to move it on, conservative, but it sounds like this stuff is going in. I mean, the Iranians have every incentive to keep this going. They don't have any incentive to bow to the way of Trump because, as I mentioned yesterday on yesterday's live, by proxy, one of Iran's biggest allies is the Democrats. Because the Iranians are not going to be able to do anything to President Trump. They can't get to him. They can't hurt him. They can't bomb him. But they know that if the Democrats do well enough in the midterms, the Democrats probably have the best chance of going after Trump. At the very least, squashing his agenda. At the very best, maybe going after him and impeaching him and kicking him out of office. So by proxy, the Democrats are a huge ally of the Iranians.
Before I drop, I have one question for you. Have you heard anything new that's going on with the war between Russia and
Ukraine? Yeah, the Ukrainians have done a really good job in advancing drone and unmanned technology, and they're now starting to strike targets deeper in Russia. Saw a video the other day that Russia is now even drafting Africans to get them to fight in Russia, promising them jobs and citizenship. And it showed a bunch of moms crying because their kids were killed over fighting the Ukrainians. Some of their kids are in Ukrainian prison or war camps. And when you die over there, the mom in Africa can't get the body back. But Russia's not doing well in that. They're not doing. You hear Trump even saying how many the manpower that Russia's losing. Russia is not doing well in that war at all.
Yeah, the last thing I heard was North Koreans were dying in the war for Russia, and Ukraine was taking out oil fields in Russia.
No,
so that was the last I heard.
Yeah, the Ukrainians have certainly switched the initiative to their favor. They're putting up a decent fight. I'll leave it at that. Hopefully you see it. We'll talk about it on the next live. But hopefully,
all right, man. Thanks for bringing me up.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for coming up.
Support your local liberal.
Hell yeah, and that too. I don't know. We can't get any. Alter Ego is dropping a head mustache as we speak. Thank you, Alter Ego. Appreciate that. So moving on with the program, about an hour before this. That is beautiful. Thank you, Absolute, for that support. That's good shit, that music stuff. I like that. In the comments, say thank you. In the comments, Arceon 504 says that Ukraine wouldn't have a prayer if it wasn't for the U.S. It ain't the U.S. When President Trump took the Oval Office, we stopped helping the Ukrainians. They're not winning because of us. The Ukrainians they started receiving assistance from other NATO member nations, and they got so good at developing drone technology, we're now getting help from them. So that American supremacy argument is not accurate. America pretty much threw the Ukrainians under the bus. Did you hear Trump talking about you're flirting with World War III and you don't have the cards? Trump has not been a good ally to Zelensky or the Ukrainians. He just recently came around and started promising to help the Ukrainians out again because it became clear that we need their help dealing with Iran. we're now using the Ukrainians to help us deal with Iranian drones. So no, you're wrong about that the Ukrainians would not have a prayer if it wasn't for the U.S. No, they, what did they say? Survival is the mother of invention. The Ukrainians started doing very well on their own. Being a black Trump supporter is like being a Jewish Nazi. Damn, makes no damn sense. That I don't agree with that, because obviously the Jewish were facing total extermination by the Nazis. I don't think. Look, I know there's a lot of MAGA that don't have any love for people of color, but they're not treating people of color at the Nazi level just yet. And I say just yet. Anything's possible, but they're not that bad to the people of color. Look, you got African Americans that serve in the Republican Party. I don't think there was anybody Jewish serving on the Third Reich or any of that administration. So you're a bit advanced. I'll tell you this: if there is a chance of Trump trying to be like Adolf and all of that shit, then we would be akin to Germany in the early 1930s right now. But we're not at the level of what they were during the full, invasion of Poland and all that. It takes time. I mean, right now we're still a democracy. I do believe there are clear-cut signs that Trump does not favor us remaining a democracy. As I told you folks on yesterday's live, take Trump out of the picture and think about any dictator, king, or fascist, anybody else you want to talk about that went from being, that took a country from being a democracy to being a fascist country, or took a country from being a democracy to a dictatorship, or any of that. They had to do a lot of the things that Trump is doing right now. Hopefully Trump is not taking that path as well. But Trump, if you want to turn a democracy into a fascist country or a dictatorship, you're going to have to surround yourself with loyalists. You're going to have to take control of elections. You're going to have to take control of the media. You're going to have to control what people can say about you on television, on radio, on the internet. Trump is doing a lot of that stuff. Hopefully he's not becoming a fascist, or trying to become one, or trying to become a king, or trying to become some kind of type of dictator. But the point I'm making is, if he was, or if anybody is trying to do that, if you ever try to turn America into a fascist country or a dictatorship or a country ran by a king, you would have to take a lot of the steps that Trump is taking now. You would have to. Trump said he wanted to nationalize the elections and put Republicans in control. That's absolutely something that a dictator wannabe or a fascist would do. That is absolutely something that you would have to do that. You got to do something to prevent the other side from voting you out of power. That is absolutely something that you would do. I mean, up to and including firing polling officials, getting rid of certain people that, in the military, just surrounding yourself with yes men. Right now, President Trump is in a unique position where even if he fucks up, there really is nobody around him that you can feel confident would tell him, sir, you're fucking up. He's surrounded with people that are 100% loyal. Make no mistake about it, we're talking about Hitler or fascists, or, Hitler or Gaddafi or fucking Stalin. Most of them were surrounded by people that were afraid of them. Are we going to suggest that Congress and the Senate, none of them are afraid of Trump? Most of the people that are now helping Trump lead the Republican Party are afraid of President Trump. So I don't know what path he is on, but I'm going to tell you, if you're trying to become a dictator or a fascist, that's the path you would take. So we'll leave it at that. This will never succeed in America. I hope not. But I think we've already come far enough down the avenue that I didn't think he would succeed at this far. I don't think anybody would have believed that Trump could accomplish and do all the stuff he's did to this point. If any of you folks, if you describe what Trump has done right now in July 2026 to MAGA in July of 2024, they would have said you're fear-mongering. There's no way in hell he's going to do all of that stuff. You would have not believed it. I'm talking about MAGA. MAGA would have said all of that shit was fear-mongering, liberal fear-mongering. You would have never believed he's going to do all the stuff he's done. Talking about nationalizing elections and shit like that. Talking about taking over Greenland and all. You would, National Guard in U.S. cities. You would have said it ain't happening. You'd have said there's no way the liberals are just fear-mongering. He ain't going to do all that stuff. The guy's just trying to make America great again and give us a decent economy. He's not going to do all of that. The guy has his own money. He ain't even taking a salary. There's no way this guy going to be getting in there talking about making money off of crypto and all that shit. You would have never believed it. So I don't know how far he's going to go, but I know he's already went further than we ever thought he would. Up to and including watching virtually all of Congress and the Republican Senate just bow down. I mean, they literally just bowed down. We didn't expect that to happen either. Even Kamala Harris said that. Even Kamala Harris said, look, I kind of told you what might happen, but even I never expected all the capitulation where, I mean, starting wars and shit without anybody speaking up. So we can talk about what a dictator or a fascist or a king might be like. I'm just simply saying, if you're going to go that route, you would have to take many of the same avenues that Trump is taking right now to get there. So we'll see how that turns out. Thank God we ain't a democracy or what do you want to say, republic, whatever. You want to change a republic into that. Whatever the case may be, you can play games with the words, but I'm just simply saying, if you want to change us, democratic elected government, would that be better if I gave you that? You want to argue about whether we're a republic or, you know what the fuck we're talking about. We're talking about a government that's ran by the people for the people. That's not how a democracy or a fascist government is ran. It's not ran by the people for the people. So that's the point I'm making. You can play games with we're a republic, we're not a democracy. I get that. MAGAs are so obsessed with this one man that they'll say and do anything for him, and he wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. Truly fascinating. Yikes. Well, it is what it is. You need to tell the diehard Democrats if Tim Walton, Kamala Harris would have been president, they would have been doing the same thing. No, they wouldn't. Kiss Israel's ass. First of all, I don't think if Kamala, now the kissing of Israel's ass, that may have happened, but I don't believe all of the Democrat Congress and Senate would have bowed down to Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. I don't believe Kamala Harris would have made $2.2 billion. I mean, naming all of the fucking shit after herself. I don't believe that would have been happening. I don't believe Kamala Harris would have been trying to put her face on money and shit. Her signature on every damn thing, on national park passes and on the passports. Kamala Harris wouldn't have done all of that shit. There's nothing to believe that she would have done that stuff. And I'll tell you this, if I had told you 2 years ago that if you elect Trump, he's going to do it, you wouldn't have believed that either. There's no way you would have believed Trump was going to go in there and start naming him, putting his name on a fucking memorial while he's still alive. Who takes over a memorial? What, do you want to put your name on Kennedy's headstone too? Guarantee you wouldn't have believed that was going to happen. So the guy is just doing shit because he can in some cases, in my opinion. 6 years, Trump controls the DOJ and 0 court cases with proof of election stolen while Trump was in control. 6 years, yeah, I agree with that 100%. But yeah, the Kamala Harris, at worst, you would have got a bad economy under Kamala Harris. At worst. I don't think Kamala Harris would have attacked Iran. I absolutely feel confident she would not have been talking about going into Greenland or taking over Cuba. The worst thing Kamala Harris would have done is made some bad decisions and our economy would have been fucked up. Same thing Biden did. Now, the border, the two things that the right cares about, the border and the LGBTQ community, in the eyes of the right, yeah, that would have probably gotten out of control. I'm absolutely certain that Kamala Harris would not have been as gung-ho on the border as Trump. In fact, I don't know who would. I mean, look, there was a bunch of people that ran for president. Kamala Harris, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy. None of them would have been like Trump on the border. I don't think Vivek Ramaswamy would have had National Guard in U.S. cities. I don't think Chris Christie would have done that. I don't think any of those. Tim Scott, none of them would have done that. None of that. And I don't think Tim Scott or Chris Christie or Nikki Haley would have made $2.2 billion. They wouldn't have named every damn thing after themselves. There's a whole lot of things that Trump is doing that has nothing to do with making America great again. And it's just really enriching himself. And I don't think any of those Republican candidates would have done that stuff either, up to and including Kamala Harris on the liberal side. None of them would have done that stuff. So I really, using the presidency as a revenge, none of them would have done that. Just using the Department of Justice as your own personal law firm to go after your enemies. Every president has enemies. I don't think any of those other folks I just named, including Kamala Harris, would have done that to the level of President Trump. None of them would have done that. So it is what it is. It's not a million, billion, $2.2 billion of what Trump made in a single year. And you got MAGA talking about, well, he's a businessman. He done a lot for America. He deserves that. What the fuck? You got a lot of very, very successful business people on the planet. Very few successful businessmen make $2 billion in 1 year. Make $1 billion in 1 year. Very few people do that. He ain't that fucking great as a businessman. He is not that great as a businessman. That shit is coming from the presidency. That's coming from laws he is enacting to make himself money. Playing games with the terrorists, market manipulation and stuff. If President Trump was a citizen right now, I don't think he would have made 10% of that. 10% of that. In the right way, he deserves to make that kind of money. While your own gas prices and your own economy sucks, you're talking about a guy that deserves to make $2.2 billion. I have no clue how that makes sense. In the comments, elect the 34-count convict felon. Elect the 34-count convicted felon, pedophile, somebody got, protector, as president and expect lawlessness, criminality, and fraud. What else is there to expect? Yikes. I will say this. You let out some kid that robbed a liquor store or some kid that had prior felonies, and then he go on to reoffend. That is what people say. What did you expect? Why ain't he still in jail? Why didn't you predict that he would get out and do something? The guy does have 34 felonies. He does have 34 felonies. Whether you think they're a witch hunter or not, a court did convict a man of 34 felonies. So that is an argument to be made. Why would you expect a guy with 34 priors to come out and do good? I mean, I can't argue with that. That is a point to be made. Anyway, folks, I do want to watch this special. And we will be on our main page tomorrow so that we can take callers on TikTok. The main page being the Handsome Liberal. Right now, you're on the backup page, the Handsome Liberal without the final L. Tomorrow, it'll be the main page, and it'll be as normal. We can take calls on TikTok. Same thing on Substack, TikTok, Substack, Clapper, Instagram. And Tim Liberals on Facebook is our page, and we just got that back up. We can go live on, because I want to be able to take folks live, particularly MAGA. So Tim Liberals on Facebook, and I'm working on Rumble, because a lot of MAGAs on Rumble. So those two, and there's no censorship like there is on TikTok. So I do want to move the party away from TikTok to some degree, because the censorship on TikTok is like no other app. Like, we've been talking about the election the whole time. TikTok's been constantly censoring me. I've been running on YouTube, Substack, Clapper, Instagram. None of those apps have said anything. It's just all been TikTok. It's all been TikTok constantly trying to censor the program. So there is something built into TikTok that's doing that. So if you do want to continue being a follower of the program, I'm going to invite you to come on over to Substack. Same name across all platforms. Substack, the Handsome Liberal. Clapper, the Handsome Liberal. Same thing with Instagram, the Handsome Liberal, and YouTube. So I'm going to invite you to go to one of the other apps, because we're live on all of them now. So you can still watch us daily on all of those other apps if TikTok goes down, which regularly does because of censorship. So follow me on one of the other platforms, if you will. Democrats will not win another presidency for 100 years. Bullshit. Some would say the reason the Democrats lost is they went too far to the left. If you keep giving presidencies to the right, they're going to go too far to the right. You do know what far right means, don't you? Women have no rights. You guys are always talking about communism. You're always talking about socialism. Why don't you talk about some far right countries? You don't bring that up too much, do you? Because you know you'd be talking about the Taliban, fucking ISIS and Al Qaeda. That's what far right is, where the minority populations pretty much have no power. Women have no rights. Men control everything. The woman don't get to vote. She can't drive. She can't open up a business. If you have a bunch of folks on the right winning election after election after election, that's what's going to happen. Religion dominates the land. One particular religion becomes law. And you can certainly listen to the way some far-right folks talk in this country now, and you can see that's what they want. I get folks on the program now that say all the time they don't think a woman should have the right to vote. Folks say a woman should not have the right to lead or be president. They don't want her in managerial positions. You guys are already saying it. A lot of folks say that we're a Christian nation. You know, God should be in schools. You want it on the money. You want it everywhere. You guys are already talking like that. The far right is already talking that way in this country now. If you won, let's say for what is this, 2026? Let's say the next 20 years, up to 2046, you have nothing but Republican administrations winning the House and Senate. Most of the stuff I just said, women would lose the right to vote. Terminating the pregnancy would be outlawed in all 50 states. Gay marriage would be gone. Probably would be illegal to even show that you guys like each other out in public. Interracial marriage would be gone. Just think about far-right governments. This is what far-right governments do. There would not be a single mosque in America. Probably most religions, it would not be safe to practice outdoors. It would not be safe to practice out in public. That's what a far-right government does. That's what far-right does. So you talk about socialism and communism all the time. You talk about the far left. You don't say shit about the far right. You don't hear them say nothing at all about the far right, because that's what the far right is that all of that stuff that I just mentioned. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got to step. I do want to catch this. I'll see you folks tomorrow. You guys take care. I appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Follow me on some of the other platforms if you want to survive the fucking, what do you want to call it, the censorship. And until then, I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Thank you.